free information now. Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
Just call 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? 'Cause everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-214-8822. That's 800-214-8822. 800-214-8822.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning, and I don't know. It feels a little bit, correct me if I'm wrong, feels a little bit warmer out there today. Do you have headphones over there, Devin? You can grab those if you want. Throw those on, then you can hear what's going on. Devin is sitting in. Jeff will be here in a second. Another morning of technical issues. Jeff, you can come in here, and Devin can go in there. There. You guys can switch it up now. Oh, boy. Good way to start. Okay. Are you sitting in there? Are you sick?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I saw
switch
him
it up. Well, I didn't see you, so I filled the seat. All right, we're going to do a little musical chairs. All right, Devin, have a nice day. All right. Okay, lots to get to here this morning. We'll get an update from the weekend. Dr. Kent Hall, of course, will be on this morning. And over the weekend, what a huge Cirque du Soleil type grand open ribbon cutting they had at the hospital. We'll speak with Dr. Hall about that. And also just the number of people that are out there getting sick, whether it's the flu or COVID or whatever's spreading around A lot of people are feeling it.
You sound like you got it now.
I don't have anything.
No?
No.
Oh.
No.
Hang on, maybe I'm not used to not hearing you in the headphones.
So I do think there's been something kind of going around. You just feel a little bit like you're just not at your whatever. It is kind of going around. Davey is off this morning. Also, Ben Simon's on this morning. We'll speak with him. Jonathan Tobin, columnist for the New York Post. That's a biggie. We'll speak with him a little later on this morning. And a ton more here. Devin, if you call in, is the guy who's answering the phones in there. Devin, good morning.
Good morning.
That mic is hot all of a sudden. I love it. And last night...
So they want to know what you think of AEW, by the way. Make sure there's going to be a couple guys who call you. They want to know what you think about AEW. And whoever the latest chick is, you got to let them know what your take on it is.
What is AEW? Is that the new wrestling thing?
Is it All Extreme?
I'm not even sure. I just know it's
All Extreme Wrestling.
Competing with WWE.
Had no idea. No idea. Okay, last night, Monday Night Football. Joe Load must be happy this morning.
Yeah, I guess so. They wound out the clock. They got the field goal at the end, and they picked up the victory. So I would happen to imagine that Joe Load was happy with the victory last night.
The final was 2017 was the final score. That was last night. And then, of course, on top of that, some really good playoff baseball. I'm not really necessarily into it, but the games, according to my son yesterday, some of the best baseball playoff action he's ever seen.
So because I don't have cable anymore, I have to do this on free television, so I got to watch the American League game. The Rangers jumped out to 4 runs in the first inning, and then Texas was able to whittle that down. Ultimately, it ended up being a 5-4 final. Yordan Alvarez hit 2 home runs last night. I think he's got 5 home runs in his last 3 games. The last 3 playoff games, he's got 5 home runs, which is incredible. But Houston now finds itself in an 0-2 hole, and they're heading to Texas.
Wow. Let's see here. So I'm told the app is there's no surprise, but the app is down this morning. I don't think that's a surprise. Here's a story out of Kirkville. 3 people and 2 horses injured Monday after a vehicle ran into the back of a horse-drawn carriage in Kirkville, according to police. At about 6:20, officers responded to Poolsbrook Road for an accident between the vehicle and the horse-drawn carriage. We see these happen usually 3 or 4 times a year, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And they never end well. These are really bad. They're horse-drawn carriages, usually the Amish. Onondaga County and 911 Center dispatch told police that a 71-year-old man had a cut over his eye but was conscious. 2 other occupants riding in the carriage sustained minor injuries. This one actually kind of ended well.
It did. So do they have the same restrictions? Like I have to wear a seatbelt in my vehicle, otherwise I get a ticket.
I don't know the answer, but I do know that...
How could they not have to wear... How could they not have to?
They do have to have, like, the markers and maybe even lights on some of these, battery-operated lights on some of these. Today, Jim Jordan looks like it's going to be very, very close for Speaker of the House, but he is gaining some momentum here. But it is going to be close. There are moderate members in the Republican Party who have been no way to Jim Jordan. If just 5 Republican members step away and vote no, he will not become Speaker of the House.
Yeah, so it's tricky, and you
I'm
have
not
to
sure
tiptoe.
I would be able to make a prediction on this.
Yeah, and I don't have a prediction either. I just continue to be troubled by the allegations that I heard about Jim Jordan when he was at what university?
He was a wrestling coach, an assistant wrestling coach, and there were wrestlers who were being molested, and they claim, and actually came out when he announced he was interested in becoming Speaker of the House, they claim he knew about it, and it was reported to him, and he did nothing about it.
So it's just one person who made the claim, right?
It was a group of
it was like 17
wrestlers.
people who made the claim. So, yeah, it's very disturbing, and I was very disheartened to hear that because otherwise I kind of like Jim Jordan. So, apparently we're going to go forward with the new Speaker of the House. Possibly is going to be, what's his name there, the scumbag who hung himself. Just like, I don't know. I shouldn't compare him to him, but it's just gross. Epstein.
We'll see what happens today. It is going to be it's going to be close. No charges for police officers after remember this story that occurred back in December of 2021. Jason Jones ended up being taken off life support after having spent 6 weeks in intensive care following a fire at a police station in Catskill. Police officers there will not face criminal charges in connection with the death of that man who had doused himself in hand sanitizer, and then one of the officers tased him and he burst into flames. There will be no charges.
Yeah, against the officers, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's
He's
appropriate.
no longer alive.
Yeah,
Attorney General Letitia James released a report on Jones's death and the officer's actions, concluding that a prosecutor would not be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the officers committed crimes. The question would be, did they know that by tasing this man who was out of control, that he would burst into flames? Did they know he had doused himself in hand sanitizer? And by the way, you have that stuff in your car, and on a hot day, there have been stories where it has started fire inside a car.
Is that right?
It's flammable. Yeah, I mean, depends on how hot your car gets. You know, the plastic it's in begins to melt, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway.
It only took 3 years for them to come back with that report?
It took them quite a while. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You remember the incident with the Utica police officer who unfortunately had to wind up shooting the man with a knife? This happened, I don't know, 2 years ago now? Yeah, they still haven't. I actually reached out for an update on this recently. They still haven't submitted their report, the state attorney general's office. I just always wonder why it takes so long.
Yeah. Another business, this time a pharmacy, is filing for bankruptcy protection. I'm sure you've seen that Rite Aid is, and there are still a handful of Rite Aid stores around here. I guess I had thought that Rite Aid had been purchased by one of the other big chains, and it actually was in the process of being done, but it fell through, right?
I believe they blocked it.
I believe it was blocked. Anyway, on Sunday, Rite Aid has announced that they're filing for bankruptcy, obtained $3.45 billion in fresh financing as it carries out a restructuring plan while coping with falling sales and opioid-related lawsuits. That's probably the big thing.
Oh, wow.
Because, while big box stores or any of the box stores or the brick-and-mortar stores tend to be struggling today, I don't really see pharmacies as struggling all that much, right? You're still going to your pharmacy. I know that a lot of people do get their medications through mail order. But at the end of the day, those stores still tend to be doing okay. But when you're facing billions, millions, and potentially billions of dollars in lawsuits over opioid abuse, I imagine that plays a role. The plan will significantly reduce the company's debt while helping to resolve litigation claims in what they're calling in an equitable manner. The stores locally will remain open as of now, and this gives them a chance to reorganize and get back on their feet. Rite Aid has been around for a long time.
Yeah, very long time.
Okay. What else this morning? We'll do a break, and Manaski can do an update here this morning. We're looking at some warmer temperatures after today. It'll gradually begin to. Even yesterday was a bit warmer than you'd expected it to be. We'll get up into almost, the upper 60s, almost 70 degrees by Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It'll be a little warmer, but it does look like it'll cool off into the weekend.
We're into that time of year where instead of saying, hey, we've got another good couple of weeks left, we go, Thursday next week looks nice.
I'll take a good couple of days at this point. All right, stand by at 6:32, a Tuesday morning at WIBX.
Hi, it's Joe Carbone from Power Sports of Utica. It's our end of the model year blowout sale. With over 450 units for sale. Save up to $3,500 on side-by-sides, $3,000 on snowmobiles, $3,000 on watercraft, up to $2,000 on 4x4s, financing as low as 1.99. Save thousands on all used inventory. Save up to 70% on general merchandise. October 16th through the 28th.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, the Omni Surgery Center is available if you're dealing in pain. Any pain that you might have, severe back pain or neck pain, shoulder pain, you don't have to live with the pain. Go to the Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder for answers. You can get their website details there at killpain.com. A perfect website for the Omni Surgery Center. My dad had excruciating pain, debilitating pain, and it went on for several weeks into several months. And it was Dr. Hyder who strategically was able to perform non-surgical injections that actually took the pain away, and it lasted. It lasted. It removed the pain. You don't have to live with the pain. Obviously, each case is different. But it's an amazing opportunity, the Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder. Reach out today and schedule an appointment. Call 315-765-8448. The Business Center, the Business Park, and the Surgery Center is located on French Road. And the website, killpain.com. Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgery Center, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery.
Hard work has never come so easy. That's what you'll say when you take on a job with a New Holland all-purpose tractor from Clinton Tractor. Whether a Workmaster Utility, PowerStar, T5, or T6 tractor, you'll maximize your productivity with exceptional power, convenience, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months or cash back on these 45 to 126 PTO horsepower models. Offer ends soon.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida Counties is your community foundation. Together, we've invested $125 million in the community, thanks to people, families, and businesses that want to give back and build a brighter future. And you don't have to have big bucks to make a big difference. Join us as we invest in the future of our community. Learn more about your community foundation at foundationhoc.org.
Good morning. We have mostly cloudy skies, and we are at 47 degrees. WIBX News Time is 6:36. This news update brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. The United States and Israel are going to develop a plan that would provide humanitarian aid from donor nations to civilians in Gaza. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made the announcement in Tel Aviv Tuesday, saying that it is critical aid that begins arriving soon into Gaza. President Biden will be in Israel Wednesday to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Hundreds attended the funeral yesterday for a young Palestinian-American boy who was stabbed to death in an apparent hate crime. Authorities say the 6-year-old and his mother were stabbed over the weekend by their Chicago area landlord. His mother was seriously wounded in the attack. The DOJ is opening a federal hate crimes investigation into that incident. A vote for the new Speaker of the U.S. House expected today at noon. House Democratic Whip Catherine Clark said the vote for Representative Jim Jordan will happen, but it's unclear if Jordan will gather enough votes to secure that position. While the GOP holds a slight majority in the House, only 4 votes can be sacrificed to win, and some Republicans seem firmly against Jordan. 4 inmates are on the run after escaping from a jail in Georgia. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says they fled through a damaged window at a county detention center about 85 miles south of Atlanta early Monday morning. All of the escapees got into a blue Dodge Challenger and then took off. Detroit casino workers are preparing for a walkout as early as today. The deal that was in place for more than 3,700 workers expired at midnight with no new contract agreed upon. The Detroit Casino Council that governs the 5 unions representing the workers says they have been at the negotiating table since the summer and still are unable to reach a deal. WYBX News Time coming up on 6:39. Your Weather Center forecast comes to you from Eyewitness News. Again, we're going to be dealing with clouds for much of the day today, and we do have a chance of a rain shower this afternoon as well. Today's high 58 degrees. Overnight tonight, mostly cloudy skies, a low of 44. Partly sunny for your Wednesday with a high of 60. Partly sunny on Thursday, a high of 67. Rain expected Friday. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and a high of 65. Bill, right now we have mostly cloudy skies, 46 degrees. It is 6:39.
Coming up, we'll talk to Johnny J. Powers from Fox News Radio. Do you know with the Olympics coming up, and that will be, this summer in Paris, they have added some new sports. Apparently, a big sport right now in Europe is American football. But they don't like the violence of American football. So guess what's huge in Europe right now?
Well, apparently they say it damages your teeth, but apparently they like flag football.
Flag football, and it will be an added sport in the upcoming Olympics.
Apparently, I like to say apparently.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently depends on where your accent is. We'll speak with Tanya about that coming up in a few minutes. Here's a great example of coming up with an excuse that you know is going to make headlines, which could ultimately assist you in an exposure for your business.
Okay.
All right? So apparently Best Buy's numbers are slumping right now. Best Buy, the electronics store.
Yeah.
And their CEO believes that there's a reason, and it's called what they've termed funflation. Funflation. In her eyes, Corey Berry says America is in the midst of funflation. For example, and you know you're going to drop the key word that's going to get everybody talking, and that is Taylor Swift. For example, people are seeking and spending money on experiences like seeing Taylor Swift. And by the way, it costs a lot of money to get a ticket. I mean, probably $1,000 or more for seats to see Taylor Swift these days. I imagine there are cheaper seats you could get if you're a part of the lottery and you buy them directly from Ticketmaster.
Right.
But for the most part, you're going to spend over $1,000 on the average ticket. But people are spending a lot of their disposable income on what she calls funflation.
Okay, so I'm not saying that she's wrong if her point is that Taylor Swift tickets are overpriced, but here's what
How many people are really going to a Taylor Swift concert in the big scheme of things?
And think of our attention spans these days. Nobody is sacrificing 6 months worth of electronic stimulation and entertainment for one night at Taylor Swift.
I guess if you're
you can do everything on your phone. I don't need 6 tablets and 4 other walkie-talkies and an iPod. I can just do everything on my phone.
If you're taking the entire family and you spend $5,000, Devin is on the phones here. I mean, you spend $5,000. For the average American family, you may have to give up a few things. So we're not going to get a TV this month because we just spent $5,000 on tickets to see Taylor Swift. And then you got to add a hotel if you're traveling because a lot of these shows you have to travel to. And it becomes a whole event. Devin, have you seen the Taylor Swift movie as of yet?
I have not.
Are you against it? Like, are you one of those, I will not?
I'm not against it, but I've seen a lot of videos where these people are in the theater acting like it's an actual concert. And I didn't like that.
I'm not sure I would want to be a part of that, right? They're standing, they're as if this is all live, when in reality you're watching a film. Yeah.
So in your example, though,
it's a thing today, though.
They don't
and
get
they're dressing up, by the way. They all like to dress up. Yeah.
They don't get the brand new television, but they still have a television, right?
They're not giving up the TV. Yeah. That is true. I got to say that I think that this is causing. So there's funflation, but then there's.
So that's what her definition is, that they're going to Taylor Swift concerts.
Well, she's saying funflation would be you're grabbing, instead of buying the big ticket items, the electronics, the big ticket items, you're following the fun trail. It may be a Taylor Swift show. Okay. Maybe you're going off to see an NFL game. Maybe it's an NHL game, and you take the whole weekend and you fly out somewhere to. Maybe you've decided you're flying to London to watch your favorite NFL team, or
I think this
coming
is
up in Germany.
A horrible explanation for
this stuff
investors.
has always been going on, hasn't it? I just think it's a great. But what I think is it's a great way to get in the headlines at Fortune magazine. Because you mentioned Taylor Swift. Anytime you mention Taylor Swift, I think you're getting some publicity out of it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now, I do have a situation where I don't know that I would call it funflation, but it's kind of like I had a situation where my dad was involved in being accused of funflation.
Okay.
So, are you familiar with these? Do you know that you can now get OTC hearing aids now? And my father has reached a point in his life where he thinks he might need. He used to have very keen hearing. He can hear, trust me, everything.
Yeah.
And now he's reached the point where I think that he needs a hearing aid.
But now funflation has told him that instead of going out to buy the latest tablet at Best Buy, he's going to invest in a hearing aid.
It's so funny that you say it that way because it's exactly what happened. So, my parents are quite conservative. They live on a budget. My father living on, my mom and dad living on their retirement. So everything is very well budgeted. I actually am envious of that. They probably do a lot better than the next generation or their next generation of kids. So anyway, they go and they check it out. They go to a hearing aid place, right? So it would be the one that's located on Seneca Turnpike in New Hartford, and it's across the. Let's see, it would be right next to where the old Ponderosa used to be, right across the street from where across from the new car wash.
Yeah.
So they go in there and because I'm like, maybe you ought to go in and be tested. And maybe one of these over-the-counter OTC hearing aids is not the right way to go because you're going to spend $400 maybe on 2 hearing aids. So turns out the audiologist there starts my father out with something that sounds terrible. Like, I put these into everybody's ears. And you listen to it, and it's tinny sounding, and But, then he's working his way up to the Cadillac of hearing aids.
Yes.
So he does his pitch and he does his little spiel and then said, all right, well, what do you think we're talking about? I think it was going to work out to be like, I don't know, $5,000 a year.
Oh,
so versus the $349 you might pay at Kinney Drugs or one of the drugstores where you can get over-the-counter hearing aids, which basically sync with your phone. Your cell phone, and they do the adjustments that way.
Hearing aids? I thought they were earbuds.
So, and I think they're very similar, to be honest with you. Anyway, my father was so upset, and my mother was as well, because he said, well, I think I'm going to have to talk this over with my wife. And the audiologist was like, what? Your ears aren't worth it? Are you telling me you have to talk it over? Well, I guess we're done here then.
What?
Honest to God. I guess we're done here. What do you spend? You spend more money in a year on cable television. Meanwhile, he doesn't realize my parents just got cable TV. Like after 50 years of living in the same house, they would never come off my parents' road. Even when I was a kid, we had 3 channels. And that happened. It changed just 2 years ago. Let them live their cable TV. They've saved a lot of money over the last 50 years. And meanwhile, this guy is like, what? You don't put any value in your ears? I think we're done here. And he walked out of the room.
This sounds like, was he also a televangelist or something?
You know what this is? They're getting pinched by the OTC, over-the-counter hearing aids. They're getting pinched.
Yes, I can see that.
And by Taylor Swift. People spending money on Taylor Swift, I'm assuming. It's kind of like that whole funflation argument. Like, are you kidding? These people are well into their 70s, and you're going to scold them because they have to talk it over when making a $10,000 investment? I mean,
yeah, that's not.
I just think that was pretty uncool.
I completely agree with you, and I'm kind of shocked that happened.
I'll go over there to get a car wash, but I'm not crossing the street there to check on my hearing aid.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Not after the way they treated.
But you're probably right, though. He's
any
getting
senior
pinched.
citizens, they're getting pinched. So you know what my father has done? They went and they purchased the ones at the local the local pharmacy
and saved themselves $8,500.
Correct,
at least
a little more than that. I think these were like $349. So
wow.
Tanya J. Powers on the line right now. Tanya, good morning.
Can you believe what that guy said to Bill's dad?
Terrible, Tanya.
It's ridiculous.
Good morning, Tanya. Good morning.
Are you there?
I don't know that I have her, and maybe
Hello, I got you.
I got you back here. I'm just figuring I need a hearing aid. Maybe that's it.
Yes, you do, Bill.
All right, Tanya. So let's talk about the Olympics, and the Olympics just around the corner. And a big thing happening in Europe right now is flag football. Every year, I believe, the host of the Olympic Games, they get to come up with a couple of sports that get added to the Olympics.
These are for the 2028 Los Angeles Games. Cricket is a sport again in the Olympics. Flag football has gotten in now for the first time. 5 sports have now been added to the 2028 Games by the IOC. They voted on it yesterday. Baseball, softball, lacrosse, and squash have also been cleared. They are going to also be in the 2028 Olympics.
Hasn't baseball been a part of the Olympics, though, the last few years, or the last few times every 4 years for the Summer Olympics, right?
I think it's making a return. But these are, like I said, this is what they voted on for the 2028 one.
You know, flag football in Europe is all of a sudden a thing. They're turning their soccer fields over to a different kind of American football, but they play flag football. So I would imagine the Olympic Committee has to consider: are there, it may be big in L.A., but will it be big around the world? Will there be teams that will be fielded to be able to compete in some of these events?
That's a good question. I mean, I assume if they say, hey, we're going to make this sport, then people are going to be like, okay, well, we're going to join up.
We're going to get a team.
And figure that out. But, that's these are the new ones. As of yesterday, they've made the decision on this. We knew that they were looking at taking a vote. But yesterday is when they actually decided, okay, yes, this is what we're doing.
Do you remember Cool Runnings about the Jamaican bobsled team?
That was but bobsled's been around for a long time.
We're going to have, coming up in a few years, the English flag football team that just a bunch of guys hanging out in a bar who decided they wanted to be Olympians.
I do think you're going to see that, right? And very similar to what happened with the Jamaicans with bobsledding. So it's cricket, it's baseball. They're adding flag football. What are the other sports that are being added?
Baseball, softball, cricket, lacrosse.
Oh, lacrosse is big.
Flag football and squash.
Lacrosse being a very old sport, but really dates back to Native Americans, especially Iroquois Native Americans in our part of the country. And up here, lacrosse is enormous. So, that will be a very interesting sport. I don't know that they play lacrosse around the rest of the world, though. I don't necessarily think they do. But that'll be pretty big. All right, anything else on this, Tanya? Very interesting.
No, that's pretty much it. It was just a vote that they took yesterday.
Okay. Good stuff, Tanya. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. Tanya J. Powers with Fox News. I wonder what it was like when they first began. Obviously the Olympics date back. There's the modern-day Olympics, and then the Olympics date way back. And those sports were obviously far more antiquated, right? But some of the sports that we have done in modern day Olympics and we still stick around, like for instance, figure skating, actual figure skating, where they come in and they create the little designs and that sort of thing in the ice. That's been a discontinued sport. There've been some that have kind of become out of date, right?
Yeah, that is yes.
So I guess you try to keep it. A little bit modernized. So everybody's interested. I knew this was coming, and it's here in the Netherlands. They have created an electric car that is solar powered. A solar powered car that recently completed an entire journey over some of the planet's most difficult terrain. The vehicle is called the Stella Terra. Traveled 621 miles from Morocco's northern coast all the way to the Sahara Desert without making a single stop to charge. The efficiency of the vehicle's solar power surprised even the students who created the vehicle from scratch. Right? This is what we've talked about. This will become a thing when the sun actually helps charge your electric vehicle.
Yeah, and it completely makes sense because, I mean, your car is always outside. I guess you park it in the garage occasionally in the winter, but essentially it's always outside. So if you go to work, you don't have to plug it in. It can just charge out in the parking lot, etc. I've always thought that this was how far did it go?
They were able to go over 600 miles.
Wow!
Across the desert in some of the worst terrain, where 621 miles, where actually a gas-powered vehicle may struggle. You're in the middle of some of the hottest weather in the world, and it's that solar power that actually drove the vehicle. That's wild.
A major advancement. We should be investing in this.
I believe there's an advancement there, and it's probably going to be a big part of the future. I know with my hybrid, there is a point where it is charging. So as you're driving down the road, the engine, I guess, creates kind of a generator. And at times, depending on what I'm doing, like if I'm coasting down a hill, it's charging the battery. If I'm hitting the gas, if I'm on gas versus electric, it is not charging the battery. It would be probably potentially drawing off the battery. You might not realize it, but counterfeit you know what to do with that, Devin? Go out and grab that door. If you go to New York City, I'm assuming this is the case in other cities around the country as well, but in New York, it's huge. What do you find on the street? They're always selling
watches,
bags, and watches. Right? These are all counterfeit, and most times the Rolex watch that you buy for $30, and maybe it's a little more today, is absolutely counterfeit and most likely will work. Maybe by the time you get home, it's still working if you're
15 to 20 minutes, Take a picture when you get it, because that's...
Counterfeit high-end wristwatches. Big business in the United States. Research performed by Watchfinder & Company found that there are currently 23 million fake watches currently in circulation around the U.S. And that, by the way, is just Rolex. So they're saying about 23 million fake Rolex watches. Rolex is the most popular counterfeit brand. Over the past year, over half of the watches brought to them were made with fake parts, leading them to be called Franken watches. These are watches that just will not, they'll work for a little while, but they stop working fairly quickly.
Yeah, very, obviously the hugest name really in watches to some extent, right? It's insane what Rolex watches go for.
Listen, I know you want to think that what you're purchasing in New York is a stolen watch. It is not. It's a counterfeit. Because you're thinking, wow, he's selling me this stolen watch for $50. If he had a stolen Rolex, a real Rolex that was stolen, he wouldn't be selling it for $30 to $50.
It is so hilarious how you lay that out. First of all, you're absolutely correct. He would pawn it off.
You would be able to take it to a pawn shop and get some...
it was a legitimate Rolex.
You're going to get ripped off at a pawn shop. They're not going to pay you what it's really worth because, after all, they have to lay out the cash and they have to turn around and sell it and make money off it. But you're going to get more than $30.
Absolutely. And it's so funny to hear you say, I know you really want to believe that's a stolen watch.
Well, it's a conversation I had with my son, to be honest with you. I know you think you're getting a deal here, and it's stolen. It just fell off the truck. But it didn't.
It didn't.
No, it's not it's just not a good deal. All right, I want to tell you can buy Heroes tickets. The other day, somebody spent $1,000 on tickets for veterans for the upcoming Jimmy Fallon show. Jimmy will be with Kennedy on stage at the Stanley Theater. Tickets are still available. Go to the Stanley box office. You can purchase Heroes tickets for veterans, by simply letting the people know inside the box office or calling them today at 315-724-4000. And if you want tickets for yourself, get them now. They're selling fast. The Laughs and Liberty Tour with Kennedy and Jimmy Fallon coming to the Stanley Theater on Saturday, November 11th. Sponsored by WIBX and Keeler in the Morning. And, of course, Jimmy is on the radio every day here on WIBX from noon until 3 p.m. Go to Ticketmaster.com. Jimmy Fallon, Kennedy, on Veterans Day, November 11th at the Stanley Theater in Utica. Call the Stanley for details at 315-724-4000 or get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at HNHMedicalNY.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Hustle up, we've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
The president is planning a trip to Israel tomorrow. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
President Biden will underscore our crystal clear message to any actor, state or non-state, trying to take advantage of this crisis to attack Israel. Don't.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Tel Aviv. The president will meet with Israel's prime minister and the Palestinian president and the leaders of Jordan and Egypt.
The Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt has remained closed. And we know there have been efforts behind the scenes to try to get it open and allow foreign citizens, Palestinian Americans, people who are in Gaza visiting family, aid workers, to get out. The Palestinians and Hamas are demanding that aid be allowed in.
Fox's Trey Yingst in southern Israel, where the war against Hamas terrorists rages in Gaza.
Last night, we know that the intelligence head for the southern part of the entire Gaza Strip, an official from Hamas, was killed in an Israeli airstrike.
Nearly 200 people being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza. House Republicans vote today for a new speaker, considering Jim Jordan, but some do not support him. Congressman Carlos Jimenez instead tells Fox,
I think the way out of this is to go back into the future, I guess, and just reinstate Kevin McCarthy.
8 Republicans backed by Democrats voted McCarthy out as speaker 2 weeks ago. The federal judge overseeing one of his Trump 4 looming criminal trials, the federal case related to the 2020 election, issued a limited gag order against the former president to stop him from commenting on the judge, the special counsel, witnesses, or court staff while campaigning for president in Iowa. He called it unconstitutional.
I'm not allowed to criticize people, so we'll see. We'll appeal it.
Now, today, the former president will be questioned under oath in a deposition in the lawsuit Peter Strzok filed. He is the former FBI agent who was part of the Russia-Trump campaign investigation the former president called a hoax. Now, Strzok is sued for wrongful termination for being let go over anti-Trump texts he shared with now ex-FBI lawyer Lisa Page, who's also suing. America's listening to Fox News.
What's the best way to stop Joe Biden's agenda? No, it's not voting Republican. A better option is to vote with your wallet. Democrats get easy votes by giving away newly printed money, but we can fight this never-ending scam by making use of physical gold. I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is why I recommend a physical gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. These special accounts allow you to preserve your retirement and help the country at the same time. Plus, you pay 0 penalties or taxes on the transfer. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust. So text PROTECT to 989898 to request your free info kit right now.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
We have mostly cloudy skies and 46 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's. Buy it today. Have it today. Power lift chairs in stock from just $4.99. A huge selection. My Carl's in the New Hartford Shopping Center. A Camden man facing multiple charges, including vehicular manslaughter, for his alleged role in an accident. Oneida County Sheriff's deputies say 30-year-old James Henry struck and killed 68-year-old Kathleen MacArthur on Hillsborough Road in Camden this past August. The victim was out walking her dog at the time of the tragedy. Henry's now being held in the Oneida County Jail. Governor Kathy Hochul is heading to Israel today. The governor made the announcement last night. In a statement, Hochul said, during these difficult times, it's more important than ever for New York to show its support for Israel. Hochul will head to Washington, D.C. this morning, meet with White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients about Israel and immigration. Then that's the migrant crisis. Hochul will be in Israel when President Joe Biden visits, and as Israel appears ready to launch a ground offensive into Gaza at any moment. The governor says she'll be back into the United States by Friday. Former Saturday Night Live star Pete Davidson is on tour. He'll be making a stop in the Capital Region later this month. Davidson will take the stage at the Ag in Albany on October 26th. In addition to his time on SNL, Davidson is known for his roles in movies like Fast X, The Suicide Squad, and Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. He also dated a few famous women as well. Seats go on sale tomorrow morning.
He hosted SNL this week.
Over the weekend, yeah.
And I got to say, he is pretty big. He's on a lot of commercials. This kid is really struck it big, despite
he's on the new Taco Bell commercials.
Despite the fact that he's a mess. I think they play off the fact that he's a bit of a mess.
Yeah. Seats for that show go on sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. through Live Nation. And 4 of the 10 people charged in connection with the kidnapping and murder of an upstate New York man have now been indicted by a grand jury. The case dates back to May when police say 33-year-old Thomas Rath of Ithaca was forcibly abducted from an area behind the Lowe's store in the city of Ithaca. Locally, that area is known as the Jungle, according to state police. Following an extensive search and multiple search warrants, ultimately his body was found buried in a shallow grave in the town of Candor, New York, about 25 miles south of Utica. Now 4 indictments have been handed down. Joseph Howell, Colleen Dillon, Keisha Radcliffe, and Jonathan Glennon face charges ranging from murder in the first degree to kidnapping in the first degree. WIBX News Time is coming up on 7:06. Your Weather Center forecast comes to you from Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, once again, some scattered light rain showers or sprinkles redevelop by late morning into the afternoon. Some partial sunshine with any showers or sprinkles tapering by evening, a high near 55. Tonight, mostly cloudy near 45, and on Wednesday, partly cloudy, bit milder, near 60. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies and 46 degrees at 7:06. All right, in sports, Major League Baseball continued their playoffs on Monday in the National League Championship Series. Kyle Schwarber, that is, homered on the first pitch of the first inning, and the Phillies never looked back. They beat the Diamondbacks 5-3 last night in Game 1 at Citizens Bank Park. Bryce Harper had a solo homer as well later in the first inning, and Nick Castellanos belted one in the bottom of the second to help Philly to the win. In the American League, the Rangers remained undefeated this postseason. They held off the Astros 5-4. Adolis Garcia, Mitch Garver, and Nathaniel Lowe each tallied RBI singles as part of a 4-run first inning. The Rangers now lead the series 2-0, and they return home to Texas to host Game 3 on Wednesday. Stephon Gilmore picked off Justin Herbert with under 2 minutes left as the Cowboys held off the Chargers 20-17 on Monday Night Football last night. Gilmore had the interception. He ended Los Angeles' final drive after Brandon Aubrey hit a 39-yard field goal to give Dallas the lead for good. Dak Prescott threw for 272 yards. He threw for 1 touchdown and ran for another. The Colts are likely without their first-round pick for the rest of the season. ESPN says, according to Jim Irsay, quarterback Anthony Richardson is probably going to miss the rest of the regular season and could undergo surgery, shoulder surgery, in the next week or so. Bryce Young and the Panthers offense will have a new play caller when they return from their bye. Carolina head coach Frank Reich is handing play calling duties off to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown after a disappointing 0-6 start to their regular season. The Rams are planning to be without their electric running back for Sunday's matchup against the Steelers. ESPN says Kyron Williams has a sprained ankle, which is expected to sideline him for Week 7. And what else here? The Raptors are seeking to dismiss a lawsuit from the Knicks. New York is alleging that Toronto conspired to steal thousands of confidential scouting files. ESPN says a sternly worded court filing called the allegations baseless and a public relations stunt by the Knicks. The Raptors also asked for the NBA commissioner to adjudicate that dispute. In August, the Knicks sued the Raptors, members of the Toronto organization, and a former employee of their own, whom they allege illegally procured, then disclosed proprietary information to the Toronto Raptors.
Today's a big day around here. It's called, today is National Pasta Day.
Okay.
If you care.
I don't.
A day set aside for, I guess they're asking for you to go out and buy pasta if you don't have it, cook it, make it, prepare it, do whatever you do with your pasta, but it is National Pasta Day.
Surprised it's not National Spill Your Coffee Day, because I just spilled mine.
No surprise there, right, Jeff? You kind of do that on a regular basis. You are prone to coffee spillage.
Excuse me, I'm offended.
Sorry. And, you have most cars today do not have your traditional keys, right? The newer cars that you get today, you're getting, there's a button, and you get a key fob. How secure is your key fob?
Ooh, that's a
is
good
it
question.
possible that your key fob, which, by the way, is wireless, can do an awful lot, right? Oftentimes it's connected to an app. For instance, you could use your cell phone, start your car, get the air conditioning rolling or the heat rolling in the wintertime, all from a remote location. Does it make your key fob vulnerable to hacking and hackers?
I would have to imagine.
The answer is absolutely it does. They say you should keep your keys, your key fob, inside a metal box. I have one of those little wallets that I put my key fob in, and it's one of those where it has, I don't know, lead or something in the fiber of the actual wallet, which prevents maybe a driver's license from that information being stolen. But the same thing would be accomplished with your key fob. Sometimes I struggle with it and it won't work. I have to take it out of the little wallet because it is protecting it. But if you're not storing it in something, let me play the audio for you, and then you can comment. Here's the advice this guy gives. His name is Brian Mello. He says your key fob could be hacked into, and ultimately your car could be stolen because of it. Here's audio. Okay, that audio is not going to play, so I'll play it right afterwards. Let me break, and I'll play that next. Would have been a good tease anyway. Also, Dr. Hall is coming up in a second. Hobika's free money question of the day this morning. How much money will be in the jackpot? We'll get to that. And we mentioned the Jimmy Fallon Kennedy show coming on Veterans Day. If you wanted to do it, and someone anonymously on Friday bought $1,000 worth of hero tickets that'll be given to veterans to be able to come out and watch the show.
That's awesome.
On Veterans Day. Did not want to be revealed. Did not want his name revealed. It's the Heroes tickets for veterans, sponsored by Bill and Robin Manjo at River Hills Properties. For information, call the Stanley box office at 315-724-4000. And by the way, Jimmy yesterday was talking about all of us on the radio. Wayne was hearing the whole thing. And if you're listening to Jimmy, you heard it as well. All getting excited about coming up here on November 11th at the Stanley Theater. Go to Ticketmaster.com for details, sponsored by WIBX. Pretty cool. Of course, Davey was in the lead in any of those comments. His best bud, Davey. 712, the WIBX.
The Wynn Hospital. Unwavering commitment and compassion. State-of-the-art technology and techniques. Advanced expertise and innovation. Consistent safety and quality. And it all will be exactly where you need it, because this fall, the brand new state-of-the-art Wynn Hospital will open in downtown Utica. Soon, you will be able to experience local care on a whole new level. The Wynn Hospital, world-class care is right around the corner. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you. At MVHS, our team members fell in love with care long ago. Their lives were changed, and their world has been expanding ever since. In respect, compassion, knowledge, and ability. And it's only just begun. Because fueling the future of care starts here at the Wynn Hospital. The Wynn Hospital, opening in October 2023. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you.
Hustle up, we've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ready for a smoother and safer ride? Head to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. At Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, you'll get expert advice from their knowledgeable staff, who know that every vehicle is different. And right now, it's the pre-season tire sale at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Buy any 4 installed Nokian snow or all-weather tires at $100 instant rebate. Get the tires you and your vehicle deserve at the best prices guaranteed. From Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
Hi, former CI officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. And right now, most Americans with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts are not prepared for a financial crisis that could hit the U.S. in the next 45 days if we don't fix our ramped up government spending. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new Financial Crisis Survival Kit that's 100% free for everyone with a retirement account who calls in today. Simply call 800-900-8000. My Financial Crisis Survival Kit is jam-packed with valuable information on how you can protect yourself with physical gold and silver. Your first step to protection is calling 800-900-8000 and speaking to one of their Gold IRA specialists.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Again, simply call 800-900-8000.
Stop into Mattress Express in Oneida in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theater. Simply complete a comfort test and get a $25 prepaid Visa card. Names like the Number Bed, Purple, Puffy, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and more. Hurry, this is a limited time offer.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Hey, getting older may have made it a little harder for you to step over that old bathtub to get in each and every day. Why not make your life easier by updating your bathroom with New York Sash? Now is the time during the New York Sash Bath Makeover Sale. A tub-to-shower conversion is a great way to provide easy access to bathing. New York Sash will remove your bathtub and replace it with an attractive double extra-large shower and a seat handcrafted shower fixture or a grab bar, and you've got a bathroom that's safe and easy to use. The possibilities are endless, and the New York Sash team will work with you to find a bath system that is perfect for you. Trust New York Sash for worry-free remodeling, and during the month of October, get 20% off during the Bath Makeover Sale. Get started today by stopping into their showroom, the Design Center on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, or you can always visit them online at NewYorkSash.com. New York Sash. Also this morning, looking for a pool or a hot tub, looking for supplies? Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas has you covered. In fact, it's a sad day today. Today we will be having our pool officially closed.
Are you going to cover it and everything else?
Covered, to prevent the deer or whatever from falling into your pool in the middle of the wintertime.
Well, would you have a squirrel?
We've had skunks and squirrels, and I think anybody who has a pool has had skunks, squirrels.
No kidding.
Who knows what? End up frogs like to get in there, toads get in, all caught in your strainer. But Tuckers will come in and actually do it all for you. They'll clean out your filter, return it, and have you ready for opening as early as possible in the springtime. Whether it's a pool, a spa, chemicals, maintenance, they do the delivery, test your water as well. It's Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas. Tommy and Ben and everybody over there have you covered in their brand new store located on Seneca Turnpike just west of New Hartford and Big Apple Music. I mentioned this potential that is possible that your key fob on your vehicle could be hacked into. I mean, there are nefarious people out there. If there's an opportunity, somebody's willing to take advantage of it. This guy named Brian Mello has gone viral, showing people on video how car thieves can hack into your key fob and ultimately steal your car. Here's
Two
audio.
thieves who are about to go ahead and drive off in some poor guy's first-gen BMW M2. The guy carrying around the antenna that looks like it was sort of like MacGyvered together in his basement is performing what's called a relay attack. If you didn't know, your vehicle's key fob is constantly emitting a signal, looking for the car that it belongs to. Likewise, the car is also constantly looking for that key fob. So what the guy with the antenna is doing is trying to amplify the signal from the key fob that's in the house in order to trick the car into thinking that that key fob is much closer to the vehicle than it really is. Which means once they get in, no alarm's going to go off. And the thieves can just start up the car and drive it away, probably to some chop shop somewhere, ship it overseas, whatever they feel like doing. Most people leave their keys by their front door, making the entire process even easier to hijack the signal. Now, something you can do to protect yourself is you can actually put your key fob in like a little metal tin or something when you get home, or you can use what's called a Faraday bag or a pouch. Both of those will block the signal coming from the key fob so that something like this won't ever happen to you.
The little pouch thing is what I use, and the reason I use it is because when I put things in my pocket and I'm driving down the road, all of a sudden my hatch is opening up as I'm driving down the road because I would hit the button by mistake. So I solved that problem with my little pouch, if you will. By the way, what cars are stolen more often? The vehicles out there that are the number one vehicle stolen in America is the Honda Accord. Number two is the Honda Civic. Full-size Ford pickup trucks. Number three on the list.
No kidding. Wow.
I feel like with a pickup truck, you'd feel though that there'd be a little bit of fear. Like the person driving the pickup truck is wearing a Carhartt and he's a big burly guy.
Right.
And if he catches you trying to steal his car, he'll beat you to death.
Right.
Whereas if you're driving a Honda Civic, not so much. You're not as worried. Maybe I'm wrong. Fourth most stolen is the Chevy pickup truck, and the Toyota Camry is the fifth most stolen vehicle in America.
So two Hondas, a Toyota Camry, those are very popular vehicles.
They definitely are. And
Honda Civics,
maybe
the Accord.
it has more to do with the number of vehicles that are out on the road, right? If there are 1,000 Honda Accords and only 300, the numbers aren't real, obviously.
Right.
Only
I know what
300 Dodge Caravans. There will be fewer Dodge Caravans that'll be stolen, right?
Could be, yes.
In studio this morning is Mr. Rabitsky. He last night, was at the mayor's forum debate, would you say? All the Utica mayoral candidates were there. And there were four of them who were there. Who was missing?
Courtney Muhammad, the write-in candidate, was there in the beginning and introduced himself and gave a brief talk, but the three main ones were there.
They were there. Okay. All right.
Yep.
And did anybody have an advantage, you feel?
Well, one thing that was asked was about their occupation, and Cardillo reiterated that if he's elected mayor, he would be a full-time mayor.
Okay, all right.
And Galimi also said if he's elected mayor, now he would be a full-time mayor, and Cardillo complimented Galimi for mentioning that he'd be a full-time mayor.
So Galimi is now going to give up his job?
No. I think, I guess we'll have to ask him.
If Bob complimented him, saying he'll now be a full-time mayor, would mean maybe he's not going to keep his job. He's going to go on leave or something.
I don't know.
That's what
I think. There's a lot made of this second job. I
think
do.
so too. But is it enough for him to say I'm not going to do it anymore? Is that what he said, Stephen?
So. Cardillo complimented and there were comments from the back saying that issue was put to bed long ago. And I asked a question.
Oh, but that was good.
About if they would work with Bowers for development, and a lot of them said that Bowers is not working with the city, and they have left a lot of things an eyesore.
Oh, they certainly have. Now, did you notice that all of a sudden Bowers and the Mayor Palmieri, are at odds all of a sudden?
Yeah, like a lover's spat or something.
Like Bowers is threatening to sue the mayor and the city all of a sudden. Well, and they seemed to be very cozy at one point because they were getting all of the projects in Utica. You also asked former Mayor Tim Julian the same question. He said what? If he were mayor?
Well, he was in attendance, and I asked him if he were mayor when he was mayor back in the day. I asked him what he would do with Bowers. He said he'd take them to court.
Okay. What do you say?
Well, I just think I find it very interesting. Also, what are they suing the city for or the mayor for?
They're saying that they're harassing them with, I believe KTV had this story on Friday. They're harassing them by using their codes department.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but, I mean, look, they've got projects that are unfinished and don't seem to be moving forward, right? So doesn't that create a bit of an issue there? I mean, it seems like a fine reason to send the codes department over to make sure that things are...
Yeah.
I don't know.
People still complaining this morning about the app. I'd suggest you try YouTube Live. It's something as simple as I do it every day, and it's on the air every day. It's on the air now. It's high-definition video and audio. It's there. I do not understand what's going on with this app. It has been up and down for the last 5 days. So we are not able to fix it here locally. It has to be done at the corporate level, and let's just say that we have a ticket, a repair ticket that has been submitted.
Yes.
So
now serving number 17.
It is not the days of old where, I would pull out my wire cutters and some black tape, although this studio is, luckily.
Yeah.
And, some would say, well, that's terrible. I say, no, it's wonderful. Every time something goes wrong in studio, we're able to somehow be able to patch it up. But when it comes to this app, we cannot. So try it. Just search Keeler live stream on YouTube, and it'll pop right up.
So I've got the KTV story here. Would you like me to review?
Let's go back to that story in a second. I want to bring in Dr. Kent Hall, who's on the line now and has been waiting. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good, and congratulations on quite a weekend you guys had with festivities. Saturday night, of course, and then on Sunday, the ribbon cutting, which was open to the public. What a weekend of festivities at MVHS Wynn Hospital.
Yeah, it was really wonderful to see everybody, especially on Sunday, where the community was able to come and see and do some tours and boy, those aerobatics were phenomenal, weren't they? That was just amazing.
Really quite an incredible. I felt a little like Cirque du Soleil, like Steve Wynn maybe played a role in booking this.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually credit Darlene Stromstad and Patty Sharvat for putting on what can only be described as just a wonderful celebration for what is a wonderful building and what is going to be a landmark for us to be able to take care of our community.
So here we are. We're at October 17th. You're 2 weeks away, basically, from the actual opening, and this has got to be crunch time. Yeah,
it is definitely crunch time. So 12 days, and actually what if you came into either one of the facilities, to St. Luke's or St. Elizabeth's, what you see is a whole bunch of carts lining the hallways, which are the carts that are packing things up to move down to the Wynn. So that all started late last week, and is going to be continuing at a very accelerated level over the next week or so to get all of the administrative things moved down there. So really looking forward to that. It's a little I wouldn't say chaotic, but let's just say, trying to figure out where it is that you're going to be on any given day, given the fact that, computers are being boxed up and things like that is really something.
So I would ask you about the level of care. You would think that as things are being moved, there is that point where you're at a vulnerable point, without using the word point too often. Am I wrong about that?
No, I think that's a reasonable thing to be looking for, and it is certainly something that we have put into the calculus to make sure that patients are not at risk as we do this. So we are, much of the equipment that's down at the Wynn Hospital is new. So the equipment at St. Luke's and St. Elizabeth's continues to be there. Some of it doesn't. Some of it we have moved and are in the process of moving. But we're doing it in a very calculated, thoughtful way so that it does not impact the care of the patients that are here. We will be decreasing elective surgeries starting next week, in an effort to make sure that the number of people that are in the hospitals on October 29th is at a relatively lower level so that the move goes a little bit smoother. But we anticipate, once we get into the Wynn fairly quickly, we're going to ramp that back up, so people will not be delayed in terms of getting the care that they deserve. And the acute care, the emergency departments. The emergency departments at St. Luke's and St. Elizabeth's are going to stay open and functioning until 6 a.m. on October 29th, and they will close their doors, which means that no more patients will be coming in at 6 a.m. And at that exact same time, the emergency department at the Wynn Hospital is going to open. And then everybody who is in the emergency departments at St. Luke's and St. E's will be evaluated just as they would if nothing was going on, and will be, if they end up being discharged to home or to wherever, then that will happen. If they need to be admitted, then they will be transferred down to the Wynn Hospital to be admitted.
Is there any agreement with any surrounding hospitals in let's say there was a major tragedy and you're in the middle of moving, your capacity can only be at a certain level, I would assume. Are there provisions put in place just in case of a tragedy?
So we have had communication with the local hospitals, and they're certainly aware of what's going on. And should there be, some kind of a mass casualty or something like that, we are prepared for that as well.
I have people asking some questions. Sometimes they're not the most enjoyable, so bear with me. Mike this morning says, if hospital downtown is called the Wynn, does that make Brett Truitt's building with the banner across it the Lose? I think he's trying to be funny there, and that's kind of clever. It would be nice if that banner came down. Would you agree?
I think it would be nice. It is, although now it's a little bit of lore for Utica, and it is interesting that it says no hospital downtown, and yet it faces a hospital which is downtown. So
yeah. I have someone else asking, and again, a bit of an awkward question, if you're okay. Asking, it was absolutely evident that Mayor Palmieri was not a part of the festivities on Saturday. Is there an awkwardness there, and do you want to comment on that?
So I don't think that there's an awkwardness. I think that we appreciate so I can't speak for MVHS as an overall entity, but what I would say is that I appreciate everything that everybody has done. County Executive Vicente, the mayor, really everybody. Now, have there been, difficult times? Sure, there have been. But when you have a project of this magnitude, you can kind of expect that.
Okay.
And, we have been able to work through things. We're still working through some of them, but it has not impacted the ability of the hospital to be built. It has not impacted the ability of the hospital to open. So we're just moving forward.
It did seem at times during this process that as opposed to working with the hospital as a partner, it almost seemed that the city of Utica at times was working against the hospital.
Yeah, I'm not involved in those kinds of conversations.
Okay.
What I would say is that everybody looks at what their priority is through their own lens and makes decisions based on that. And we have been laser focused on getting this hospital built so that it can take care of this community. And we are 12 days away from its opening, and we are phenomenally happy about that.
I'm told that we've all been educated over the years of if you're having a stroke, go to a certain hospital. Obviously, that will go away for Utica residents.
It will. So that's one of the nice things. And honestly, running a two-hospital system where the two inpatient campuses do some things that are exactly the same, but some things that are definitely different. When you look at St. Luke's with the stroke center and the OB center, and when you look at St. Elizabeth's as the trauma center and the cardiac center, that has caused some I would say inefficiencies. We've been able to manage through them, and I think that the county or the community has really benefited from that. But getting everything into one building where we won't have to necessarily transfer patients back and forth is going to be phenomenal.
I hate to be pelting you with all these, but people with a lot of questions here. Michael, I would like to know what ends up being the final cost to build out this hospital, including the garage. Not trying to be adversarial. Definitely positive with the hospital, but curious, what ends up being the final number? Do you know that?
I don't know the specific number. I don't know the number for the garage. The hospital is somewhere in the $650 million range, but again, I don't know that specific number.
Okay. And let's see, John is in Bridgewater. John, you're on with Dr. Kent Hall.
Hi, Doc. I got a quick question. I got a procedure coming up in March 23rd, and my paperwork said I go to St. Luke's. That's incorrect now, right?
That would be incorrect. Yes, you'll be going to the Wynn Hospital.
Okay, so then they'll probably I should call them and tell them that my paperwork says St. Luke's.
Yeah, I would anticipate that they will be sending out new information, with the proper proper hospital. That's actually something that I will look into to make sure that we are updating those.
All right, John.
Those things.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I'm going to have a colonoscopy.
Okay, good for you, man.
All right,
nice job. Bye. Okay.
Way to go, John.
It sounds so creepy that every time somebody says I'm going to have a colonoscopy, I'm like cheering them on. Way to go! But I feel that way, right? I mean, it is the way we detect things early and save lives. The message that Tim Reed and our organization, Real Men Get Tested, continue to push.
Nope, and I applaud that organization, and the infamous an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and a colonoscopy, is actually part of preventive medicine. So
And by the way, I do think that during COVID, you couldn't get in and get those colonoscopies, which was a problem.
I just imagine showing up though in March to Faxton or St. Luke's. To St. Luke's for your colonoscopy.
Showing up over there, yeah.
Wow, it must be a really slow day today.
Slow day. Nobody's here. And speaking of all of this, in 2 weeks, in 12 days, so less than 2 weeks, the Wynn Hospital will be open. There will be people there that unfortunately have to, like every single day out of the year, something happens, they have to rush to the hospital. They have to go to the hospital for something, go to the ER, and boy, that ER is going to be a shock when people see it for the first time. It is probably nicer. I'll have you comment on this first. Probably nicer than the ERs in most major cities, which are dealing with older buildings. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that that's true. I think that just the size of the individual rooms and the layout of them, and again, very thoughtfully developed and designed. And the pod system, so that as more people come into the emergency department, you can open up more areas, and then as the population in the emergency department gets smaller, you can close them down and it'd be more efficient in that way. It was designed in a very thoughtful way, so it's really I am looking forward to it.
With that said, I've over the course of the years been in hospitals I was unfamiliar with. It is an adventure. You rely greatly, on people to direct you. And the problem here is that most of the people in the hospital are going to be new to the building and the layout as well. However, what is being done when somebody walks into that hospital and doesn't know where to go? I'm assuming there have been provisions for that.
Oh yeah, so there are basically going to be two doors that are going to be open. It's the emergency department door for those going to the emergency department, and it's the front door for everybody else, including staff. So there will be greeters that will be at the front door and in the emergency department that will be meeting people, asking who they are. There will be a good security system so that so that we can make sure that everybody who enters, that everybody who is working there is safe and everybody who's getting care there is safe. And then people will be escorted, especially early on, to wherever it is that they need to go.
And then finally, I have someone here saying, I hope we're not going to lose the wise words of Dr. Hall after the hospital is open.
I'm not going anywhere right now, so...
Well, I think
I
think they're wondering about on the radio, and as far as we know, we still get our updates through you, and that will continue. Or is it like, oh my God, the hospital's finally open? Can't wait to stop doing this every Tuesday morning.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and to talk to the community and to answer whatever questions I can or get people the information that they're looking for. So
okay, I'm going to throw two more quickies out and then I'm going to move on. Right now, there's a lot of stuff that's being spread through schools and contact. It's that time of year. And we've had it in the building. Manaski had something, didn't have it, got it again, spread it around a little bit, and then, it's just what happens today. Number one, first part of this is there's a lot going around, and it seems like it's a lot, and it's tough to shake.
Yeah, so so you're absolutely right. This is the time of year. I think we're a little more sensitized to it too. So the data that I have seen does not indicate that there is significantly more respiratory diseases or GI diseases going around. But the data that I look at really is about how many people are being admitted to the hospital with it. So people who have severe disease. But I think that over the last 3 years we have become so sensitized to sickness in general, and acute sickness in particular, that it's like, oh my gosh, it's here again. Thankfully, we have a good monitoring system, and we've learned so much in the last 3.5 years about how to take care of people, even with non-life-threatening conditions, to make sure that they're as comfortable as possible. So, this has been a learning experience, and it's been difficult to go through, but it has been a learning experience, and we really have learned a lot.
Could we just walk away with this? We did a lot of learning during COVID. There was a lot of explaining things, and Apple even came up with an app, a part of their operating system, where it timed how long you washed your hands. Which I think, to be honest with you, is still on my phone. It's annoying, but it's there, and I guess it reminds me to keep washing my hands when I think I've done enough. But I think the worst phrase out there today, the most overused, most ill-advised, and uninformed phrase out there.
Can I guess?
Being used today in the workplace, on the subway, now that we have any around here, on the bus, when you're in the mall, when you're in a store, worst overused line, Manaski, is?
No, I had something, but I'm positive now it's not it. But the worst overused line is, it's not COVID.
That's the line. Don't worry, as there's snot coming out of every orifice of their body, they're hacking and they're choking and they're sneezing and they're like, nothing.
What do you mean, Bill?
Nothing to worry about. It's not COVID. Doc, I don't want whatever it is they have. It doesn't have to be COVID. I mean, people got to start thinking just because it isn't COVID doesn't mean we want it.
You want some of this?
Yeah, God.
No, I think you're right. And again, if you think back to 2017 and 2018, people had, runny noses. They had, presumably the flu and stuff like that, and they still went to work, because it was, that's kind of the American way, right? Tough it out. And then with COVID, it was like, no, you don't do that because you can make other people sick. So that to me is hopefully is a positive remnant that will continue, is people will be aware that, when they have acute symptoms, the body aches and the low-grade fever and things like that, that's when you're most infectious, and that means that you should be staying away from people and, taking a day off of work to stay home to protect your coworkers is
Not
a good
bad
thing
idea.
to do.
Yeah. Okay, Doc, thank you as always. Just 2 more times before all of this happens. And in fact, we'll be broadcasting from over there coming up real soon. So we look forward to that, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Please have a great day, and please be safe.
Thank you, Doc. Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS. A lot of good stuff happening, and we're less than 2 weeks away from the opening of Wynn Hospital. Wow. All right, coming up, we're going to speak with Ben Simons. And as we head into the winter season, the late fall, early winter season, what does it mean for agriculture and for farmers out there? Especially when you get a nice sunny day. We may have some of those coming up in the near future. What do farmers have to do? We'll get into that. Now, Hobica's free money question of the day. It's a chance for you to win. How much money, according to Siri, how much money will we be giving away today of Hobica's money? What will the jackpot be this morning? Siri.
400 buckaroos.
Wow.
Habakkuk is sweating this morning.
Habakkuk is sweating this morning.
Habakkuk is sweating.
Habakkuk is sweating this morning. The jackpot this morning is 400
buckaroos. Habakkuk is sweating this morning.
Okay.
Did she call him a hobbit?
She called. Okay, please stop. I got my watch is going off, my phone. These two are talking back and forth to each other. It's terrible. The jackpot this morning is $400. Devin, you know what to do, right?
Yes, I do.
This morning we're looking for caller number what?
Number 4.
Fourth caller, apropos for $400. Can you walk away with $400 this morning? 315-736-0186 is the number. Dial carefully. Dial right now. We'll take caller for number 4 coming up right next, right after this. Brank Construction. If it's concrete, call Brank. 315-894-3481. Foundation repairs, stone walls and block walls, masonry work, concrete work. There's still time to pour concrete and do that masonry work before the snow flies, driveways and sidewalks as well. If you need concrete work, call Rocco or Dave Brank at Brank Construction at 315-894-3481. 3481.
Hi, it's Joe Carbone from Power Sports of Utica. It's our end of the model year blowout sale. With over 450 units for sale. Save up to $3,500 on side-by-sides, $3,000 on snowmobiles, $3,000 on watercraft, up to $2,000 on 4x4s, financing as low as 1.99. Save thousands on all used inventory. Save up to 70% on general merchandise. October 16th through the 28th.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
The Wynn Hospital. Unwavering commitment and compassion. State-of-the-art technology and techniques. Advanced expertise and innovation. Consistent safety and quality. And it all will be exactly where you need it, because this fall, the brand new state-of-the-art Wynn Hospital will open in downtown Utica. Soon, you will be able to experience local care on a whole new level. The Wynn Hospital, world-class care is right around the corner. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you. At MVHS, our team members fell in love with care long ago. Their lives were changed, and their world has been expanding ever since. In respect, compassion, knowledge, and ability. And it's only just begun. Because fueling the future of care starts here at the Wynn Hospital. The Wynn Hospital, opening in October 2023. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you.
She's running around, her breath doesn't smell, her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-sized bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, a Tuesday morning, and Hobica's free money question of the day. Joseph and Andrew Hobica, 315-724-1600 for your legal needs. And AJ is on in Frankfurt. Hey, AJ, good morning.
Good morning.
You ready to go here this morning?
Let's go.
You know the way it happens. We throw out the question, and if you don't know an answer, guess. You can only give us one answer. So select your final answer, and away we go. Okay, here we go with your question. It's worth $400. Manaski, you ready? Here we go.
Yes, sir.
What is the world's smallest mammal? Ready, go. I have to say, I tested this question out the other day, and maybe it's because if you ask a college student, maybe it's something they've gone over. My daughter knew it right away. Do you know the answer, Ben Simons? The world's smallest mammal is?
I wouldn't have a clue. A mouse? Yeah. Smaller than that?
Smaller than that. They're saying it is the bumblebee bat. This bat species is 1.29 inches long. It is known as the world's smallest mammal.
Oh, no, I know that.
Yeah. By the way, I got to tell you, Dr. Hall was talking about how, COVID versus the flu versus other stuff. My daughter was talking about how the rule is at college that if you test positive for COVID, you cannot come to class. If you have a temperature for anything else, you're okay to come to class.
Yeah.
Why would you want to spread the flu?
But again, so
It's
this
the
gets
dumbest
back to
thing
the
I've ever
world
heard in my life.
the world we had to live in for a while, where and Dr. Hall said this, I think correctly. You used to have to tough it out.
You're
Oh,
right.
come on, you're
Yeah.
fine, come in. And then it was COVID came around, and they were like, "Did I just hear you sneeze?
That's
Did
right,
you
get
clear
out of
your
here.
throat?"
Right. You're right. It's different. Although here they're saying, nope, you still have to come. Unless it's
testing. They're telling us that we don't need to test anymore.
And you don't,
They're
right, so you don't
discouraging
even
testing.
know if you have it.
Right.
Okay, AJ, we're going to give you the Utica all-in-one food. And don't get me wrong, I'm not paranoid about dying of COVID or the flu or anything like that. I just don't want the inconvenience of having to have it. That's just
Bill
how
can't be inconvenienced.
I feel.
Oh,
That's how
excuse
I-
me.
That's how I feel.
Home to your family either.
You don't want to bring it home. No, keep it away. The all-in-one food and fun card. That's a $25 gift card good at Aquavino, which is now open year-round with the hospital open over there. Babe's 72 Tavern and the Tailor and the Cook and the concession stands at Adirondack Bank Center and Nexus. We mail this to you, so stand by, AJ, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Okay, Devin, you know what to do in there, right? Yes, you do. In studio, Ben Simons. We're nearing. This is kind of it's nice when we get a good 68, 70-degree fall day. The sun shines. We're not in that stage right now after being spoiled with 80-degree weather just 2 weeks ago. But it's not been that bad.
No, the fall hasn't been that bad, but the fall harvest, and I heard you say earlier that I was going to talk about getting ready for the winter. To be honest with you, most of us farmers are still working on the harvest. We're running 3.5 weeks behind on harvest season because of the smoke and the summer. We had such a rainy, cooler summer than normal.
Yeah.
All the crops, doesn't matter what we're talking, corn, soybeans, anything, didn't mature in a timely manner like they normally do in July and August. So now here we are trying to run our combines through the fields to harvest the corn and the soybeans. And we, even though Mr. Cardez says that the growing season is officially over here in Oneida County, it's really not. Only part of the county that got a frost is down to Griffiths Air Base. All the rural part got a very light frost, which did not give the crops a chance to finish growing yet. So these 60, 70-degree days where we're looking at in the next few days is actually a blessing because we need some more heat degree days to finish growing the corn and the soybeans.
Wow.
We had a Farm Bureau meeting last night, the annual Oneida County Farm Bureau meeting up at the Franklin, and the consensus talking to the farmers is we can't get the combines out in the field just yet because the corn's not ready. The moisture content is too high, and the corn is still green.
So does cows? So we called it cow's corn.
Yeah. There's
versus,
two kinds.
versus sweet corn.
Yeah, there's actually three kinds then if you want to do that. Sweet corn is for people.
Yeah.
Then there's corn silage, which goes in the bunker silos or goes in a silo to feed the cows. And the one I'm referring to when I say combine is the grain corn, where the corn gets really brown. I call it Halloweeny. You know,
Yeah, it's what you put out around your light pole for Thanksgiving.
and they're still green. So
And they're
all these
still
people
green.
that are going to be putting out corn stalks for Halloween around their mailbox or the entrances of their houses is still green. So the problem is the kernels of the grain hasn't finished maturing down and drying down to that starch for the energy for cattle and people.
Do you know
So we're
something
running
else
behind
that I've noticed? Like
because of the smoke.
I am just starting to get now. I have neighbors that we're in a very good spot, at least in our home, where the leaves, when they do fall, they just blow somewhere else. I don't even have to use a blower. They just blow. Nature's way of saying, you know, you don't need any more leaves. Talking to me.
How nice.
But my neighbor doesn't feel that way, probably. So, but I'm noticing I'm just starting to get leaves. Yeah. It's late in the season. This is the leaves are just. I still have green leaves in our neighborhood, and like. What is that that bush, the burning bush, is that what they call it,
Mm-hmm.
that becomes bright red in the fall?
Yep.
If you go into the country, you see those. They're just
Still green.
beautiful. Ours are green still. We do not. It may be just starting to turn. Does that have to do with the slow grow? I'm assuming that's the slow growing season.
Your plants around your yard. If everybody thinks their fall is later, it is.
Yeah.
But there's another part to this that people aren't talking about. is remember a few years ago when they had that huge tsunami over in Japan a few years back?
Yeah.
All right. The people that are very fluent with GPS, global positioning, and surveyors that work to the inch, not us farmers that work to the foot, but the ones that work to the inch, they will tell you that the very few days after that tsunami, GPS was not true north anymore. It was 8 degrees off. And people don't talk about it. I don't know if it's because of global warming or whatever they want to talk about.
Are you saying that the planet shifted?
The planet
This
shifted.
is interesting. I just saw something about this. I didn't think it was 8
And
degrees.
I haven't even
but-
read about it. This is something that's in my mind, and I know it's controversial, and I think it kind of is, but I'm telling you that ever since that tsunami, our springs are just a tiny bit later, and our falls are running longer.
Yeah,
and
that's very
I have
interesting.
some friends up there in the Remsen area that are surveyors that work with GPS and bulldozers and surveying and different things like that. And everyone will tell you that the day or two after the tsunami came and went and everything kind of settled back down, the Earth was off. They had to recenter their GPS. I know I didn't say it right, but I'm telling you, there
Almost
was a
like
problem.
recalibrate.
That's exactly
Okay.
right, Bill. Thank you. They had to recalibrate. And now 8 degrees doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about the ultraviolet rays coming off the sun, hitting the Earth, things are a little different. It's like you having a ball and turning it.
Yeah.
Things
Wow.
are different. And no one's really talking about that, but it did
I think
happen.
that's because it would scare the daylights out of the rest of us. We'd be does this mean something really, really bad? You kind of wonder a little bit.
I think it's just the way everything changes. I mean, when they dig in the deserts, they're finding trees and fossils of trees. So over time,
I'm saying the number of plants that just come back that normally wouldn't come back just in your backyard, from tomato plants to, and I understand that this is something that's been going on for a while, but not like now.
Right.
Like I will tell you that we have flowers. I guess they're petunias that are in pots, and this year they came back in the springtime and became full bloom, like completely loaded the pots with flowers. We didn't have to rebuy this year. Same thing with tomato plants. I have 8 tomato plants on my property
And
that
I
I
bet they're
did
still
not
growing.
that I did not plant, and they're still growing. And by the way, the long hot peppers grew out of control. I didn't also realize that long hots near basil, the basil won't do well near the long hots. I didn't know that.
So see, things are changing.
Things are changing. Stand by, because I have more questions, Ben. So if you're okay to stand by, we have news coming up right here. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 8 o'clock.
It's day 11 of Israel's war against Hamas terrorists. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Moments ago, there were air raid sirens sounding in the central part of Israel, an indication that 11 days into this conflict, Hamas and Islamic Jihad are still able to fire on major population centers here.
Fox's Trey Yingst in southern Israel reports Hezbollah militants have been firing rockets also from Lebanon.
Israel has to be prepared for this to develop into a multi-front conflict, and it's part of the reason, according to reports, that the Israelis are taking their time before launching this ground invasion into Gaza.
Where nearly 200 hostages are being held, Hamas released a video of an injured Israeli captive last night. Tomorrow, President Biden will go to Israel for talks with the Prime Minister, the Palestinian President, and the leaders of Jordan and Egypt. And Fox's Brooke Singman reports.
More than 2,000 troops have been ordered to be on standby for a possible deployment to Israel. As far as we know, the U.S. service members headed towards Israel will provide medical support for Israeli forces, not for combat.
A manhunt for suspected terrorist ended this morning in Brussels when police shot and killed him.
Thousands of Sweden supporters had gathered in the city for a soccer game with Belgium. 2 were shot dead and a third injured in an automatic rifle attack 3 miles from the stadium. Later, a man identifying himself as a member of ISIS posted a video saying he carried out the attack.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. 2 weeks after Kevin McCarthy was ousted as House Speaker, House Republicans plan to vote today considering Jim Jordan.
The American people deserve to have their Congress, their House of Representatives working. And you can't have that happen until you get a speaker, so we need to do that.
And Jordan says he's more confident now, though there are still some holdouts who oppose the outspoken conservative. It only takes a handful of Republican no's to block Jordan. Former President Trump will be questioned today under oath in a deposition stemming from lawsuits filed by the 2 people who were inside the FBI, exchanging now infamous anti-Trump texts. While Peter Strzok played a key role in the Trump-Russia collusion investigation, he and Lisa Page are suing. America's listening to Fox News.
What's the best way to stop Joe Biden's agenda? No, it's not voting Republican. A better option is to vote with your wallet. Democrats get easy votes by giving away newly printed money, but we can fight this never-ending scam by making use of physical gold. I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is why I recommend a physical gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. These special accounts allow you to preserve your retirement and help the country at the same time. Plus, you pay zero penalties or taxes on the transfer. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust, so text PROTECT to 989898 to request your free info kit right now.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
We have mostly cloudy skies and 48 degrees. WIBX News Time 8:03. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. A Camden man facing multiple charges, including vehicular manslaughter for his alleged role in an accident that occurred. Oneida County Sheriff's deputies say 30-year-old James Henry struck and killed 68-year-old Kathleen MacArthur on Hillsborough Road in Camden this past August. The victim was walking her dog at the time of the tragedy. Henry is now being held in the Oneida County Jail. Governor Kathy Hochul is heading to Israel today. The governor making the announcement last night in a statement. She said during these difficult times, it's more important than ever for New York to show its support for Israel. Hochul will head to Washington this morning to meet with the White House Chief of Staff, Jeff Zients, about Israel and immigration. Hochul will be in Israel when President Biden visits, and as Israel appears ready to launch a ground offensive into Gaza, Hochul said she'll be back in the U.S. on Friday. Popular actors and comedians Steve Martin and Martin Short are bringing their latest tour to Syracuse next year.
I've seen this show. It's a great show. Check it out.
The pair will be on stage at the Landmark Theater on May 3rd at 8 p.m. Martin and Short have worked together for years and starred in the hit Hulu show Only Murders in the Building.
Love that show, too.
Seats for the show are now on sale and can be purchased through Ticketmaster.
Am I interrupting and you don't care what I think? But that's possible. But that Only Murders in the Building is a really great series. If you've not dug into that one, delve in and check it out. It's really, really good.
Former President Donald Trump is expected back in court today for his civil fraud trial in Lower Manhattan. Trump is expected to hear testimony from his accountant and several real estate executives who appraised his properties. During the first 3 days of the trial, Trump attended court and held press conferences in the hallways, drawing a crowd of reporters and protesters. The New York State Attorney General is accusing Trump of inflating his net worth in order to obtain more favorable loans and insurance premiums. Trump has called the case a political witch hunt. Comment?
Sorry, I was creating new free money questions for tomorrow. A thought popped in my head. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No comment.
Former Saturday Night Live star Pete Davidson, who actually hosted over the weekend, is on tour, and he'll be stopping in the Capital Region later this month. Davidson will take the stage at the Egg in Albany on October 26th. In addition to his time on SNL, Davidson is known for roles in movies like The Suicide Squad and Transformers. Seats go on sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. through Live Nation. And one more, a kidnapping and murder in Ithaca. Indictments have now been handed up by a grand jury. 4 of the 10 people initially charged in connection with the incident have now been indicted. The case dates back to May when police say 33-year-old Thomas Rath was forcibly abducted from the area behind the Lowe's in the city of Ithaca. Following an extensive search of multiple areas, including the victim's home, he was found buried in a shallow grave in the town of Candor, New York, about 25 miles south of Ithaca. State police officials arrested 10 people in connection with the kidnapping. They also arrested 48-year-old Angelo Baez on a charge of kidnapping and murder. So far, again, 4 people have been indicted. Baez, though, is not one of those who has been indicted at this point. More on that story on our website.
Can I bring up another story before you do sports? Because I think it is something that is worth getting into. And I understand on our college campuses, as well as the entire country, right, there are going to be people on both sides of this issue, Hamas and Israel. And there are going to be those that support the Palestinians in America. It's a free country. There's been talk about if you're a representative, you should be expelled in New York State or in any state. You should be expelled for having an opinion such as this. I disagree with that. I think that we have to accept people's opinions, good and bad. It's what we live with in a diverse country with free speech and free expression. However, what happened in Israel was horrific. For anyone to do, no matter whatever the circumstances are, when you, I think we can all agree on this, right? When you go in and you take people from their homes or just shoot people at random, or there's never an equivalence there. Well, look at what they've done over the past during wartime and what have you. Look what the Israelis have done. There is no equivalence here whatsoever to go in and take women and children and innocent people hostage and shoot them point blank, just shoot them and kill them. So I think that is the difference. You can certainly sympathize with the Palestinians, but in this situation, this behavior by Hamas cannot be accepted. Period. Right?
You're going to be shadow banned on Facebook and Twitter.
Maybe, but I'm just telling you. At Cornell University, a professor, there was a pro-Palestinian speech. And while I do believe that this person has the right to his opinion, it is a really difficult opinion. Professor Russell Rickford, there's a story up on our website at WIBX950.com, said the attack by Hamas was exhilarating and energizing. Quote, I'm quoting him here, exhilarating and energizing, and if it weren't exhilarating by the challenge to the monopoly of violence, by the shifting of the balance of power, then they would not be human. I was exhilarated, he exclaimed during a speech in front of about 50 students on the campus at Cornell University in Ithaca. Wow, right? So the university has come out and has made this statement, the despicable atrocities perpetrated by the Hamas terrorist organization in Israel last week left the world reeling with shock, horror, anger, and grief. The brutal attacks shattered countless innocent lives, caused unimaginable pain, and challenged our very understanding of humanity. The intentional targeting and killing of innocent civilians is the very definition of terrorism. The president said, I am sickened by statements glorifying the evilness of Hamas terrorism. And that is exactly what one of their professors did. The story is up on our website. It is tough to read. And, I understand people can be on both sides and there will be different opinions. But the murdering of innocent people, children, women, and men, the murdering of innocent people is terrorism, and we as a world and a society should not accept terrorism. Period. The story is up on our website. Feel free to check it
statement.
out.
Holy cow.
Quite the statement. I think they felt like they had to come out after this. I believe it was the New York Post that actually broke this story after the speech was posted online.
So in his speech, Rickford claimed that the Palestinians who were born into violence and oppression were able to breathe for the first time in years.
So you're breathing as you're watching the death of women, children, and men, innocent people, just civilians. That allows you to breathe?
Yeah, that's
That
ridiculous.
sounds like a great deal of hatred to me. Terrible. It is 8:10, and I know you have a forecast to do, but I wanted you to check out that story up on our website, WIBX950.com.
Here is your forecast.
My Witness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, once again, some scattered light rain showers or sprinkles redevelop by late morning into the afternoon. It's a partial sunshine with any showers or sprinkles tapering by evening, a high near 55. Tonight, mostly cloudy near 45, and on Wednesday, partly cloudy, bit milder, near 60. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
In sports, the Texas Rangers take a 2-0 series lead over the Houston Astros in the American League Championship Series. They held off the Stros again last night, a final of 5-4 after a big 4-run first inning. In the National League, the Phillies jump out and grab Game 1 against the Diamondbacks. They beat Arizona last night Monday Night Football, a game heard right here on WIBX, saw the Dallas Cowboys hold off the Los Angeles Chargers 20-17. Dak Prescott threw for a touchdown and ran for another. He had 40 yards on the ground. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches for 117 yards. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Let me break, and we'll come back and speak with, as Stefan calls him, Farmer Ben. Ben Simons is in studio, an Oneida County dairy farmer. What has the growing season done for what you're going to pay for dinner at the grocery stores? And in particular, what will Thanksgiving dinner cost? Will it cost more this year? My guess is the answer to that is yes, with everything going on in terms of the weather, but even more so with what's going on around the world. We'll get to it. It's 8:13 at WIBX.
Safer ride? Head to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. At Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, you'll get expert advice from their knowledgeable staff, who know that every vehicle is different. And right now, it's the pre-season tire sale at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Buy any 4 installed Nokian snow or all-weather tires at $100 instant rebate. Get the tires you and your vehicle deserve at the best prices guaranteed. From Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or alternative minimum tax. Did you know that municipal bonds are a way for investors to support civil projects while earning federally tax-free income? The Erie Canal, which led to the expansion of the United States into the Midwest in the 1800s, was financed with municipal bonds. Are you looking to bridge the gap between the income of your working years and the income needed in retirement? Municipal bonds might provide the solution you're looking for. Henyon & Walsh is a leading specialist in tax-free municipal bonds and has provided investors with quality service and personal attention since 1990. Call now to receive their informative bond guide absolutely free. Dial 1-800-761-9761 to learn how to earn retirement income while keeping your taxes at bay. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for a copy of their informative bond guide for free. No cost, no obligation. 1-800-761-9761. Henyon & Walsh Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
Fall is in the air and the season for trucks has arrived at Steed Ponte Chevrolet. If you're ready to conquer the changing weather and want a truck that's like new without breaking the bank, then shop Steed Ponte Chevrolet. Test drive a 2021 Chevrolet Trailblazer Active all-wheel drive with only 13,000 miles or a 2020 Chevrolet Silverado Crew Cab LT 4-wheel drive with only 18,000 miles. These are not just any trucks, they're certified pre-owned by GM, ensuring quality and reliability. Plus, when you choose a certified pre-owned vehicle at Steed Ponte Chevy, you'll receive a 6-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and an additional 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. Visit us online at SteedPonteChevy.com. Embrace the fall season with a truck from Steed Ponte Chevrolet and find new roads. Steed Ponte Chevrolet, Route 28 in Herkimer. See why it's always easy to do business at Steed Ponte Chevrolet. These trucks won't last long. Offer ends October 31st, 2023.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's obvious. The unthinkable is happening. With all the recent media distractions, most folks never saw it coming. But a few did. Their guts told them something very wrong was going on. And now the headlines are proving them right. The people in charge keep telling you that everything's fine and to stop noticing. But you know better. Folks are investing in emergency food storage, and you should too. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, are the ones you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells biomass stoves, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, gravity-powered water filters, heirloom seeds, and survival gear that may come in handy soon. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today. It's time to prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Identity theft shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, more than $29 billion were stolen last year alone. That's a criminal success story and a wake-up call for everyone else. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock makes it easy to help protect yourself if you become a victim. A dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. Join now and save up to 25% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com, promo code Clay.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Portions of today's program brought to you by Sarah's Flooring Outlet, the area's leading flooring store for whatever you need in flooring. So the next thing my wife has informed me of is our next project is going to be tile. I had no idea. I didn't I walked into the house yesterday and I just thought to myself, you know what I think we need is tile. We need some tile around here. So,
honey, I lost my honey-do list. Do you think you could make me another one?
Yes, it's right on this tile right here. And this is the one I like. Listen, if it's tile, it's in Sarah's Flooring Outlet. That's where we'll be going to very soon to be looking at decorative tile. And they have the most varied lineup of tiles and flooring in their inventory. It's the largest inventory of all of Central New York. In their all-new Route 49 Plaza. Check it out. You can get a $50 off coupon on their website at sarahsflooringoutlet.com, and also 6 months interest-free financing. You can pay it off in 6 months and not pay a penny in interest. It's in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road in Marcy. Sal and everybody ready to take care of you when it comes to flooring in sarahsflooringoutlet.com. Yes.
No, I didn't have anything to add.
I wanted to. I know we play then, and we're going to go back to Ben, but that professor at Cornell University, I do have audio, and I may have to, it might be a little hard. This is at a rally. There's a bunch of students. I find it interesting that as he's talking about this, it almost seems that the crowd of students are a bit shocked by the words coming out of his mouth.
Okay.
Because every once in a while you might get a clap, but for the most part, the crowd of, 50 to 75 people didn't seem to be really applauding. Now, this, keeping in mind, is a professor. I believe he's African-American, and he is a professor of history. This is his opinion as he was speaking at this pro-Palestinian rally at the Cornell campus.
It was exhilarating.
It was exhilarating.
It was exhilarating. It was energizing.
Energizing.
And if they weren't exhilarated by this challenge to the monopoly of violence,
This challenge the monopoly of violence by the shifting
of the balance of power, then they would not be human. I was exhilarated.
All right, so you do have a small group that but there's a pretty good size. It's a pretty good sized crowd there, and I maybe I felt a little hope that they weren't all applauding and cheering him on. But this went viral, and I believe the New York Post picked it up, and the university has now responded.
Yes, again, you can read their lengthy statement condemning his comments essentially on our website. Despicable atrocities, and you went over some of this, but yeah. So you can find that on our website.
In studio right now is Ben Simons, agriculture, a farmer in the area. And Ben, it's what has happened in Israel. It is the unrest. What is going on specifically when it comes to the breadbasket of the world, Ukraine, and what's happening there during this war with Russia. it is limiting the amount of food that is distributed around the world, which means prices are going up.
That is correct. So just to reiterate, Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe over there, just like the United States is the breadbasket over here. Or the Midwest is our breadbasket here. And the market conditions are crazy. One day, the price of corn and soybeans and wheat and oats, small grains, is off the chart, like record highs. And that's because Mr. Putin all of a sudden says there's going to be no more ships, no more grain leaving the ports of Ukraine. I'm shutting everything off. And then the markets just skyrocket because the rest of the world, it's no more. We talk about the world buying grains and crops and things. It's no different than you and I, Jeff and Bill, going to Walmart. If a can of peas are not on the shelf, we're going to pay an extra premium to get a can of peas. So the world is no different than buying grain from Europe and Ukraine and the United States. And when Putin says, no, I'm not going to release any more grain, nothing's going to stop. Everything's going to stop. I'm going to send that food to my people in my country. All of a sudden, the market conditions go crazy. Then the world gets together, the UN and everybody calls up Mr. Putin and says, listen, the war is the war, but starving innocent people is not acceptable. Then he realized, okay, I got to release a few shiploads of grain. The very next day, the price of grain come right back down. It's up and down. It's a roller coaster. And now what's happening into Israel is the same thing. Israel is not a big country to grow food, but they are customers. And when you shut off Gaza, no water, no food, no energy going in.
You saw
these millions
large
of people.
Tractor trailers trying to get in to bring in food and supplies, and they're not being allowed into.
So
the
with the
Strip.
unrest in Europe, it actually is affecting your dinner plate at your table every meal. And you're hearing it. I'm hearing it from my wife. She goes to the grocery store. She spends $300, and the cart's not even full versus what it used to be. And we were talking earlier off the air here about what's going to happen Thanksgiving time. No question that the price of your Thanksgiving dinner is going to go up. Here, right after Halloween, the Farm Bureau will be releasing the costs of what those meals are going to be. And I'd be glad to come in right after Halloween and talk about it. But you know what the start is? We're already forgetting one portion, and that's Halloween. Go buy a bag of candy now. Look what candy's costing. The transportation, the fuel to make it, move it, the raw product to the manufacturer to make your chocolate, to make your candy. Then to move that candy back to the store, and then you buy it, and there's a shortage of sugar because the growing season over down south and in the United States and down in Mexico where they grow, in South America where they grow a lot of sugar cane, they've had a little bit of a tough year. So sugar is very high. And dairy products, milk has been very high. Excuse me. Dairy products like your creams and your milk chocolate has been running really high because of the growing season, the wet and the cold. Products just aren't out there plentiful, so what there is very expensive. So your Halloween candy is going to cost
more. How much has Chobani helped farmers in this area?
Huge.
Yeah.
It's to be
Can you
honest
imagine
with you,
if that plant didn't open?
If there was no such thing as Greek yogurt, if Mr. Hamdai and that Fayet plant out in St. Johnsville never came to fruition in the United States or here in New York, there would be such a flood of milk that the farmers that you see out there would probably be half of what there is today.
Wow.
Excuse me. The invention of Greek yogurt to what we know today, Chobani and Fayet out there.
I didn't know there was a plant out there in St. Johnsville.
Yes, sir, there is. There's a large plant out there. It's not as big as Chobani, but they both are Greek yogurt. They both came from over in Europe. Both of them know each other's family. And then they came to the United States and they started competition of making a Greek yogurt. There's a lot of history between Chobani and Fayet. Fayet is a certified non-GMO type yogurt, and Chobani is your regular. They're non-GMO too, but they're not certified. But if those two plants never came to fruition, the Greek yogurt market never came to what it is today, they would probably be half the farmers in the Northeast, and especially here in New York, that there is today. That was a blessing. The new plant that's coming into the Rochester area, Fairlife, through Coca-Cola and all that sort of thing that's going to be built here in the next year or so.
I didn't know about that either.
Oh, that's going to be huge.
We're learning things here today.
Yes, we are.
All right.
That's going to be huge, guys. To be honest with you, it's so big that they honestly don't believe, all the economists in the dairy industry don't believe there's enough milk in New York right now.
Wow.
To accommodate what's going to happen in that Fairlife plant in Rochester, New York.
Well,
That's
let me
going to
just
be
say
huge.
this, though. You know what that means? Get ready to pay $6 for your gallon of milk.
Well, I want to say yes to that, but I'm going to contradict it a little bit, being a dairy farmer, because Dairy Farmers of America, DMS, or Dairy Farmers of America Co-op, a few years ago came up with a supply management program for the farmers. You got to slow down a little bit because there's just so much milk. We don't want to put anybody out, all the farmers out of business by oversupplying, okay? Well, now the economists have all got together with the growth of Chobani, the growth of Faye, the growth of the dairy industry, and now this new Fairlife plant that's coming into Western New York and Rochester. They honestly don't think there's going to be enough milk, so they have lifted January 1st the restrictions on dairy farmers, and some of these large co-ops like Dairy Farmers of America have lifted it and said, guys, you better gear up because there's some large milk plants coming in, and the expansion of dairy is starting to explode again. And we don't want anybody, especially as farmers, don't want anybody being short on milk. So the dairy industry in New York, you're losing your little farmers just due to the economics, okay? You can't make a living anymore on 40, 50 cows. It's very tough. Now you're starting to talk hundreds of cows and thousands of cows on farms. Wow. But at the end of the day, the dairy industry in New York is still growing and expanding.
Wow.
Just on small, fewer farms, but bigger farms, more efficiencies.
All right. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. And you look it up on your websites, ladies and gentlemen, you'll find it. It's a huge plant coming.
Not only Chobani, but you have Rochester and obviously Coca-Cola getting into this business because they see profits, and I think they're seeing the sugary drink market being strangled just a little bit today.
You got it.
And then in St. Johnsville, didn't know about that one either.
Yep,
so,
FIA.
All right, Ben, we've learned great stuff here. Andrew Hoffman says, tell Benny to take a breath.
Well, I'm trying to get all in.
He's filled with information, and he's just trying to spew it out. We
had to milk it out of him today.
We milked it out of him.
So I want everyone to know that even though that the apple crop here in the southern part of the state of New York or central New York, right across the center of the state from Albany, right along the thruway, got a frost on May 18th and devastated your apple crop. I know you heard it.
Yeah.
Our county legislator, George Joseph, North Star Orchards,
Yep.
is having to buy in apples. But once you get north of the thruway, from here to Canada, the apple crop is huge. Huge.
So our apple crop definitely suffered this year.
It did. But if you get out of the Mohawk Valley and get a little bit north, there is so many apples, and they're shipping the apples down. So kind of hurt the southern tier,
Yeah.
but the northern tier is enjoying it.
Good stuff. We always learn a lot, Ben, and we appreciate it. And let's always remember that Oneida County, this region, this area, is agriculture country.
It is. Number one industry, no question, hands down, in Oneida County is agriculture. It's the number one industry.
As always, thank you. We appreciate it. And when we have you back the next time, we'll find out how much it costs for how many maids of milking? That'll be Christmas time, but we'll
Is it
get
8
into
maids
that.
of
We'll come
milking?
into Thanksgiving if we could, and
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
talk
start
about
with that.
Thanksgiving dinner.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good man. We appreciate
Thank you,
it. 8:30 on the mark. Stand by. Coming right back at WIBX.
Are your brakes noisy? Do your brakes vibrate? Is the brake pedal soft? When your brakes need service, find out why our customers have voted Oriskany Garage the best auto repair shop in the Utica area, where we promise to never try to sell you something that you don't need. For brakes, tires, funny noises, warning lights, or any of your auto repair needs, come and experience award-winning service at Oriskany Garage down the street from Utica University or online at ogtire.com. Come on and say it with me and make the noise. ogtire.com.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Hi, it's Joe Carbone from Power Sports of Utica. It's our end of the model year blowout sale with over 450 units for sale. Save up to $3,500 on side-by-sides, $3,000 on snowmobiles, $3,000 on watercraft, up to $2,000 on 4x4s, financing as low as 1.99. Save thousands on all used inventory. Save up to 70% on general merchandise. October 16th through the 28th.
Hi, former CI officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. And right now, most Americans with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts are not prepared for a financial crisis that could hit the U.S. in the next 45 days if we don't fix our ramped up government spending. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new Financial Crisis Survival Kit that's 100% free for everyone with a retirement account who calls in today. Simply call 800-900-8000. My Financial Crisis Survival Kit is jam-packed with valuable information on how you can protect yourself with physical gold and silver. Your first step to protection is calling 800-900-8000 and speaking to one of their Gold IRA specialists.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Again, simply call 800-900-8000.
John and Marie heard about Mattress Express's newest promotion where you simply stop in, perform a simple comfort test, and get a prepaid $25 Visa card. They went to Mattress Express's location in New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. They tried Tempur-Pedic. They tried Stearns & Foster. They tried the 9 different purple mattresses. They love them all. They settled on the Q9 King number bed by Instant Comfort in a flex head. John liked his side firm. We set it to 40, elevated his head and feet, said he'd never been more comfortable. Marie liked her side softer. She was an 18. What a difference. Elevated her head a little higher, her feet a little less. They said it was like they were each in their own custom bed. They qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down, did not give us a nickel up front. They, for their luxury rewards, selected a 75-inch flat screen TV. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Come to any Mattress Express, perform a simple comfort test, and get a $25 prepaid Visa card.
At EasyCater, we get it. Ordering food for work means you have to deal with this.
Client meeting on Tuesday.
Client wants Taco Tuesday.
19 people.
Need vegan options.
Our budget just got slashed. Meeting is now Monday.
What about Mediterranean? Client still wants taco.
Claire has a nut allergy. Gluten-free. Under budget. These are vegan.
Vegetarian, vegan, social club. Tacos for a client meeting? Just use EasyCater. Food for work delivered on time as ordered with a huge variety. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Hey, Ricky Z at Steet Pawnee Mazda, ready to take care of you during their Move to Mazda sales event. Never thought I would be moving to a Mazda, but I did. Love the vehicle. Enjoy 2.9% APR financing up to 36 months on new 2023 Mazda CX-30s. They've increased their inventory so you can save when you finance or lease any new award-winning Mazda as we continue their Move to Mazda and the Mazda sales event. I got to say, my mother celebrated her birthday the other day, and we took her out to brunch.
Oh, happy birthday, Mrs. Keeler.
So they got into my car for the first time, and it's a hybrid, and so they enjoyed the ride. And my mother said, I've noticed this car doesn't have the same kind of takeoff power your other car had. And without skipping a beat, I put it into sport mode, and I just took off. Their heads were just rammed back into the seat. It has some torque.
I can imagine what your mother said.
Yeah. I mean, you were in the car. You felt the torque.
Oh, my goodness. It was unbelievable.
Like, Mom, this thing has some takeoff power.
And then I watched something with Elon Musk talking about, I never knew this, that electric vehicles have that kind of instant power.
The Tesla, I mean, you remember we rode in a Tesla, 6 years ago, when they were first brand new, and somebody had one, and they took us for a ride. That thing was 0 to 60 pretty fast. I don't know how many seconds it took, but anyway, as Rick says, come on in and continue with their Move to Mazda sales event. Let's make your deal on a Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, where it's always easy to do business. Steet Pawnee Mazda on Commercial Drive.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, let's go now, if we could. He is the editor-in-chief of the Jewish News Syndicate, host of Top Story with Jonathan Tobin, and is a columnist with, of course, the New York Post. Jonathan Tobin on the line right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Let's talk about this upcoming ground invasion, which I don't think, you tell me what your thoughts are. I don't think Israel has any choice but to be as strong as possible and try to eliminate Hamas. That seems to be the goal here.
That is the only possible goal. Israel has tried coexistence with Hamas. That's something that's a point that's not being made in the corporate liberal media right now, as these calls for a ceasefire and people pressuring Israel to stand down. For 16 years, Hamas has governed Gaza as an independent Palestinian state in all but name. It has been a terrorist Islamist state. And yet Israel has tried to sort of just say, stay on your side of the fence, we'll stay on ours. If you shoot missiles at us, we will try to take down those missile launchers. But other than that, if you don't do that, we'll leave you alone. And we'll even let some of the Qatar and Iran send money to you just to keep you quiet. That didn't work, did it? And the result was the atrocities from last week, the worst mass slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust, unspeakable crimes. I mean, really, it doesn't even bear thinking about some of the stuff that they discovered, let alone talking about it. And there is a consensus in Israel, and Israeli politics is as divided as our own. Let's be clear about that.
Sure.
But there is unity now behind the idea that Hamas has got to end. And anything short of that, if you want peace in the Middle East, if you're a dreamer of peace, it's got to begin with the end of Hamas, because the most important thing for people to understand about Hamas is that its goal isn't to adjust Israel's borders, change its policies, create a two-state solution, or any of that stuff. Its goal, stated in its charter, they live it every day, is to destroy the state of Israel, no matter where its borders are drawn, to kill as many Jews as possible. It is like ISIS or Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
And the only thing to do with them is to defeat them, destroy them, and to convince the Palestinian people to stop following terrorists, and that will be better for them, never mind anybody else.
What do you, right now Hamas is saying we're in a position, in fact, the people being held hostage who are non-Israeli are being treated as guests. They're not hostages, and we're looking for a moment, an opening to be able to release them. And many of those people are Americans. What should we do? Here we are as Americans who support Israel. We're now saying, all right, let us get our people out and you keep the Israelis. This is a real difficult conundrum, right, for the U.S.?
It's a difficult conundrum for Israel, too, because, ransoming hostages, Israel has paid high prices in the past to ransom hostages that were held by Hamas in particular. But that policy, which, people generally supported because, everybody could imagine if it's your kid, what would you do to get your kid back, right? You'd set the world on fire. I would.
Yep.
So would anybody.
We all would, yeah.
But when it's this kind of slaughter, we realize that if you let the terrorists stay in place, if you let them profit from this, if Hamas is still standing at the end of this, they won. And the world lost, not just Israel, not just the Jews. And as much as I want to save the hostages, and let me just have one crazy thing that happened in the last couple of days that illustrates how crazy this situation is.
Yeah.
Israel is preparing for a ground offensive. People, I'll just say parenthetically, people keep asking me, when is it going to start? I always say, it's like, the army didn't give out press releases before D-Day. The Israeli army is not telling the press when they're going to attack. But the one thing I can tell you, it won't happen before tomorrow or tomorrow, because that's when Joe Biden is arriving for a photo op.
Right.
Now, in the lead up to that, the United States was putting pressure on Israel to sort of turn the electricity back on in Gaza, so it would be better for so that would be better for Gaza and the people living there. And it's like, I have sympathy for the people in Gaza, even though many of them cheer for, voted for, and support Hamas. But in any hostage situation, if this was happening in your hometown or mine, and a hostage taker was holed up somewhere, and the SWAT team surrounded him, and the negotiator went over, and the kidnapper said, "We want a concession. Turn the electricity back on in this apartment." The negotiator would say, "Okay, but give me something in return. You got to release some of the hostages." Israel was pressured to turn on the water, turn on the electricity for Gaza, and got nothing in return. We didn't even get those American hostages. How crazy is that? And it just shows there is no negotiating with these people. I'm very worried for the hostages, as we should be. This is, it's like the people that were slaughtered last week. They can't be allowed to stand in place. That can't. The goal. Yes, we want to get the hostages home safe, all of them, as much as possible. But that can't be the priority over making sure this doesn't happen again. Because if Hamas is still standing at the end of this, no peace, no nothing. This will just ensure that this will be repeated, and that can't happen.
Speaking with Jonathan Tobin, he is the editor-in-chief of JNS.org and, of course, a columnist with the New York Post.
So you mentioned that many in Gaza support Hamas and voted for and cheered for, maybe cheered for what the atrocities that happened last week. Here's my question, though. So if you go in and take down Hamas, and certainly a response, is absolutely justified, whatever is left is still the remnants of Hamas. It'll probably just form as that feeling, that sentiment will probably rise again, just as a different change the name of the organization.
You'll set them back, and I think that's the goal, right?
Well, I think the answer. I mean, it's an important question, and I think the only answer is this. And last week's atrocities, were analogized to what the Nazis did, and I think for once Nazi analogies are appropriate. Almost every other time they're not. But think back to 1945. How did Germany become from a Nazi state to a sane, modern country, democracy? Well, we went in there, my father's generation, and completely defeated them, took them down, made sure the German people understood that that the ideology that they had cheered for and supported and fought for was done, was over. The Nazis were over, and you have to try something else now. The only answer for the Palestinian people, never mind for Israel or the world or anybody else, is for the Palestinians to understand that this century-old war that they have been holding on to, against Zionism, against the Jewish people living in their ancestral home in Israel, it's got to end.
Yeah.
The Palestinians have rejected numerous offers of statehood and peace from Israel, the moderates as well as the so-called radicals of Hamas. And that process, that change in the political culture of the Palestinian people that will ensure that we don't get just another version of Hamas, has to begin with their complete defeat. Wars only end when one side is defeated and gives up. The rule seems to be in the Middle East is that Israel is the only country that isn't allowed to win a war because everybody always steps in to stop them before they go in and completely defeat the other side. And as a result, the other side still thinks that they're, it's like the Black Knight in Monty Python. Sure, you cut off my legs, I'll bite your knees off. They don't care. They keep fighting, and the only way this ends is by ending Hamas. And that's the only way to change the situation down there. Anything else, you're just asking for a repeat. And the Israeli people can't tolerate any more of this anymore. They can't.
Jonathan, do we have an end when you still have Iran, Hezbollah, you still have the hatred that so many over there, this archaic hatred that they have for Jewish people? That will not go away.
That is, you put your finger on one of the problems, is that Iran is supporting this.
Yeah.
The other Arab states, just to show, things can change. If we were talking 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, and you asked me which country is the greatest source of hatred for Israel and the Jewish people, I'd have said Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They were the ones funding all the, Islamic hate.
Right.
And indeed, that's where the 9/11 hijackers came from. Saudi Arabia has changed. That's one of the things that the Hamas and Iran are mad about. Saudis have realized that Israel isn't their enemy. The Jews aren't their enemy. They can be allies against the country that actually wants to destroy them, which is Iran. And peace is good for business. It's good for people. And there's been real change. The Abraham Accords, was real. And so things can change. But as long as Iran is allowed to, is strengthened, it's empowered and enriched, and unfortunately Obama and now all the Obama alumni in the Biden administration have spent 3 years trying to appease Iran. And, we see the results. That's got to end too.
Well, it's that general hope that we can turn these people. We can make them enjoy the democracy that we enjoy. And it just, we fail over and over and over again at this. Jonathan Tobin, a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thanks so much for having me on.
All right. Have a great day. Jonathan S. Tobin from the New York Post. We'll break him back and wrap it up here, 8:47 at WIBX.
Ready for a smoother and safer ride? Head to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. At Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, you'll get expert advice from their knowledgeable staff, who know that every vehicle is different. And right now, it's the pre-season tire sale at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Buy any 4 installed Nokian snow or all-weather tires and $100 instant rebate. Get the tires you and your vehicle deserve at the best prices guaranteed. From Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
At AmeriQ, we know sometimes it's not about the destination, and that the best connections are made along the way, because we're all about real connections, online, in person, and everywhere in between. Connect with the real person online when you need us, and easy mobile access to your accounts when you don't. Stay connected with AmeriQ wherever your life takes you. AmeriQ and you. Let's connect. Membership eligibility is required. Insured by NCUA.
This is a serious announcement for those who want to smell better naked. Like, seriously, how fresh are your nooks right now on a scale from 1 to 10? Our data shows 12 hours after a shower with soap, they're about a 5 out of 10. And if you apply Lumi Whole Body Deodorant after that shower, it would be 0. And who doesn't want 0 body odor? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the founder of Lumi Whole Body Deodorant, created for those who want less BO long after a shower with soap. Lumi is different. It stops odor before it even starts, everywhere. Clinically proven to block odor all day and controls odor for 72 hours. How do we know? Because we pay scientists to smell body parts by the hour after a shower. With over 200,000 5-star reviews and a 60-day money-back guarantee, you can try Lumi risk-free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 25 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. LUME deodorant.com, code 25 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 25.
Hey, River Hills Properties continues to grow in the area, and they do so because their listing agents work so hard for the people they're working for the people who are selling a home. They work so hard for the seller, and that benefits the potential buyer, and it's lowering the stress level, which selling a house can be very, very stressful. But with River Hills, your listing agent is there on the scene every step of the way. From the appraisal to the estimate, which would be the appraisal, to the inspection process, every single step, every step of that process, there's someone there assisting you, walking you through it, and lowering that stress level. That is your River Hills listing agent. Why wouldn't they grow? 15 years ago, no one knew their name. There was just one listing agent, Robin Monjo. Today, there are over 30. Today, they are the #1 agency, independent in all of Central New York, #2 when it comes to the chains. That's pretty darn impressive. Servicing people in all of upstate New York, right up into the North Country. With offices in Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica. Online, riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Call 315-896-1009. If you're selling your home or a property, list with River Hills Properties, because nobody sells homes like River Hills.
I'm Anthony Pacenti. As county executive, I tackled tough issues. I acted to make our schools safer for our children. I immediately stopped the immoral attempt to bus illegal migrants into Oneida County. I continue to work every day to combat the scourge of the opiate epidemic in our community. I will continue to tackle tough issues head on, and I won't let bad decisions in Albany stop us. And I ask for your vote on November 7th.
Leadership and a vision for the future is how Oneida County is moving forward. Oneida County Executive Tony Pacenti.
We've made significant investments in healthcare and public safety, created new opportunities in tourism and youth sports, and invested big in high-tech, state-of-the-art research, resulting in high-quality jobs right here at home.
Oneida County is working, growing, and moving forward. On November 7th, let's keep it that way. Re-elect Tony Picenti, Oneida County Executive.
Paid for by friends of Tony Picenti.
Hi, it's Joe Carbone from Power Sports of Utica. It's our end of the model year blowout sale. With over 450 units for sale. Save up to $3,500 on side-by-sides, $3,000 on snowmobiles, $3,000 on watercraft, up to $2,000 on 4x4s, financing as low as 1.99, save thousands on all used inventory. Save up to 70% on general merchandise. October 16th through the 28th.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. Dr. Shemaleski has gathered a whole group of doctors under one roof with an osteopathic approach. So you take modern medicine together with osteopathy, and you have the Falcon Clinic. It may mean you need to be on medicine. You have high blood pressure, you got to be on medicine. But you can also do some things from an osteopathic approach that could lower your dependency on the medicine that you have to take. And boy, we all know, because every pill, for one pill, you have a side effect, which usually means you got to have another pill. The reality is, if you can lower the amount of medicine you take, that can really help your lifestyle, your quality of life. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Kosminski, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic. Call today. They're accepting new patients. Whether you're in need of someone who can help you when it comes to a specialty, something that ails you currently, or you're looking for a new family doctor, they have you covered. 315-507-4751, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
WIDX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Jimmy Fallon, along with Kennedy, he was all over us yesterday on his program, talking about coming in the studio, talking about coming back to Utica, and he'll be at the Stanley Theater coming up. And this is going to be one of the, if you've seen him already, this is a completely different show. If you've never seen him, wow, one of the funniest comics you will ever see, Jimmy Fallon, with Kennedy telling some amazing stories of Fox Business and of her days with MTV. Saturday, November 11th at the Stanley Theater. It's the Love, I'm sorry, I'll get it. It is the Laughs and Liberty Tour coming to Utica Stanley Theater. By the way, if you want to buy tickets for a veteran and then donate them, call 315-724-4000 at the Stanley box office, sponsored by River Hills Properties.
Okay, I have to mention this. A friend sent this to me. Will you please tell people that 2239 Gridley Page Road in Deansboro has the best Halloween decorations? So there you go. I did it.
Was there? I never realized that Gridley Page was named after a road.
I didn't realize that either. I did not realize that until I believe so. I don't think they named the road after the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never realized that until, I don't know, a couple years ago.
You know, a little known fact, they were going to call themselves New York State Thruway, but it didn't seem to have the same ring to it.
It didn't.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, because my son, I'm going to be taking my son here, the decorations are incredible. Okay.
So it's like a huge haunted house type.
Yeah, and it's not like a commercial. It's a commercial property. It's actually somebody I know, and they're quite nice and normal people, but you wouldn't know it from looking at the outside of the house, because it'd be like, wow, crazy people live here. I mean, it's that spooky and freaky looking, and they do like a little Halloween gathering.
Cool.
And have neighbors over. It's not like you pay for a haunted house. I mean, they have like a graveyard with, I don't even know what they spend on this stuff, but like animals that are like crawling and maimed.
Nice.
And
I love me some good crawling animals.
Yes, I love the maimed ones too. Yeah,
maimed.
It's unbelievable. So you should go check that out. Okay, so comments here. Lance and Lee says, and he intentionally spelled Picenti's name wrong. Is Picenti going to Israel with Hochul? Chances are that won't be happening. Now, you said this during the break, and I completely agree. I don't even know why Hochul's going.
She must feel she has some sort of a national reach. Is she considering running for president at some point? Oh, boy. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It's kind of like when
but
Cuomo,
why would she take
Cuomo
Tony
went
Picenti with her?
When Cuomo went to Puerto Rico, remember? And people were like, well, what is it? How is that benefiting New Yorkers? And I think it's for their own career. I don't get it.
So, yeah. Just wondering how Cornell, this is from Terry, just wondering how Cornell would have responded if a white professor had stood before a crowd of people insinuating the same thing about slavery. I doubt he or she would have a job today.
Well, I think that these universities are very, I don't know the answer to that, but I think the universities are very, very big on free speech. And this is you see it all the time at especially not just liberal colleges, but other colleges and universities around the country with opinions. Either way, no matter what, it's the comments are terrible. Now, I get it. You can side with the Palestinians and feel that they are the oppressed, but there is no way you can defend how Hamas attacked innocent people and
Correct.
children and babies and women and even men that are just completely innocent. There's no defense in killing innocent people.
And then another one here.
Can't believe it.
And I say this because I completely disagree here. The issue with the professor at Cornell is that he has power and influence over the students. When he says those things, he can influence their thought. Would we allow an openly racist cop to continue to work with the public? And because he works for the school, he does not have the right of free speech in the school environment.
I disagree with that, and if you follow, so you got to have it both ways, right? If you're going to go after a liberal college and say this person doesn't have the right, doesn't have free speech, then you would have to say the same about Liberty University, right? Where it's a Christian conservative college whose opinions are everything from right down to abstinence, no sex. Well, of course, the president of the college, the founder, he was okay to be able to go off on a boat and have sex with whoever he wanted.
Special. He's different than us.
Correct. The point is, and Cornell is a private university. They can do whatever they want. And as for having power over the students, I don't buy that. You're not going to Cornell thinking you're going to be taught abstinence. Let me just tell you. You know where you're going. You know and for every very far crazy opinion a professor has, there's another professor that doesn't have an opinion like that. But if you're going to Cornell, you know what you're getting into.
I don't understand the analogy with a cop and the public. The part about free speech.
And by the way, people have the right to be racist in America, whether you're a police officer or what have you. Now, if you're out,
it'll cost you your job.
If you're out holding rallies, but there are plenty of people who are racist, and he did use the word openly racist. So I imagine that probably could cost him his job. John, quickly in Bridgewater before we get out of here.
Real
John.
quick.
Yes, sir.
This winter is obviously around the corner. If you want to kill some time, get a Monopoly board out, get 5 people, $30 buy-in, 3-hour time limit. At the very end, you total up all your properties, money, and the winner gets $90. We played Saturday.
So you played for money?
Awesome.
That's for real money. I like that.
We put real money. Everybody pitches in $30.
Okay.
You get a 3-hour time limit, and there's no stopping. If you got to get up and mix a drink or whatever you got to do, it's on your own time.
All right.
My
I love it.
To take advantage of the drunks, and there weren't none.
All right, I got to go, John. That's awesome. WYBX, Utica, Rome.
A show of solidarity. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Biden leaves the White House tonight to fly to Israel for meetings with Israeli leaders about the war with Hamas terrorists in Gaza, a war that could be expanding to the north.
Hamas and Islamic Jihad continue to fire rockets into southern and central Israel, sirens sounding across this country, sending millions to bomb shelters. The anticipation is certainly high amid the questions about when this ground operation into the Gaza Strip will take place. The Israelis are concerned when they enter Gaza. Almost immediately, the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah could start a massive attack on northern Israel.
Fox's Trey Yanks. After Israel, the president meets with Arab leaders in Jordan. What's believed to be the first Hamas hostage videos released of a 21-year-old French-Israeli woman asking to be released. She was kidnapped from a music festival where at least 260 people were killed. A vote's planned on the House floor this afternoon for Speaker of the House, maybe multiple votes if Republican Jim Jordan does not get enough Republican support at first.
I feel good about how things are moving.
The House has been without a Speaker since Kevin McCarthy was voted out 2 weeks ago today. Former President Trump plans to be in court for his business fraud civil trial